is what I think I will drown in. After you, I'm afraid of feeling some too soon. Cling to what you're giving. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think I will drown in.
Let's go.
Paint away.
Dude, how we doing?
Midnight 6 hearts, hope I'm okay. You're alright, goodbye then if you
Let's go, let's go. Oh shit, the big screen. I better look good. I gotta look good if I'm on the big screen. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Good evening, people.
Nothing is what I think I will drown in. Nothing is what I say.
I feel far away. Nothing.
Is what I think I will drown in. Nothing is what I say. I feel far away. Nothing is what I think. Nothing is what
I think. Yeah, 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 yeah. 'Cause I will drown in pain. Oh, 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 oh. Let's go. Dude, you went to college in New York? Shit. Where'd you go? Oh my God, it's this song again. Dude, it's so weird listening to music from 30 years ago, man. Or 27 years ago.
would it matter if I had nothing to say? Would you wanna been
What you could not change.
it might be?
Everything you hate in yourself. Dude, how we doing?
I think the name is
Manhattan College? All right.
the same. I will gladly
Take the blame.
be
Oh, shit, bro.
honest away. I can't remember.
Hello, hello. I can't remember myself. Dude, oh, we got Steve in the house. All right. Dude, we're going to do a super chat goal. We're going to cure Steve's depression again. Let's go. Dance party. Give it an hour. Let's go. There we go. There it is. There it is. Pennsylvania, let's go. Where are you in Pennsylvania, social butterfly? Dude, I used to go out with a girl from Wilkes-Barre, right? Or Wilkes-Barre. Dude, it's me in my youth, Robin. It's me as a young 30-year-old. Oh shit! All right. Well, we've already done this. There we go. That makes it easy. Dude, let's go Fontucky! Dude. So Dutch, I tried to play Europe. In fact, I was gonna do a tour of Europe as the Wanteds in like a long time ago. It was probably like 2000, I don't know, 2007, 2008. But I ended up like putting together a 3-person band and making a new record instead. But let's go. South Korea. Oh shit. Let's go. Oh my God. A leftist voter in central Louisiana. Yeah, you know what's funny, Dirty Curtis, is I used to play shows in a little town called Monroe, Louisiana. You know where that is? It's kind of north central, but maybe a little bit over towards the east. But I played shows in Monroe. There was a young guy who booked shows there out of like I don't even know what it was. It was like a weird sort of like coffee shop space or whatever, but he looked just like Kurt Cobain. I remember he was like really young. He was, I don't know, 19 or 20, and he was like booking all these indie bands in this little tiny space, and he literally looked just like Kurt Cobain. I always loved playing in Monroe. It was wild. Crazy little town though, man. It's kind of like the town kind of smelled like they had some sort of plant. I don't know if it was like a paper mill or something like that, but the town like had a really distinct smell. Dude, it was pretty wild. I've had some adventures. Oh man. Let's go. But dude, Louisiana is pretty. Aberdeen? No, it was not Aberdeen. Was Monroe, Louisiana. Oh shit. Was there a paper mill in Aberdeen? Did Aberdeen have a smell? I mean, Aberdeen's like a lumber town, isn't it? Isn't it a fucking like a logging town? Oh, welcome. So, yeah, man, we got some stuff to look at today. Hold on, I'm going to pop into the Discord and see what we got. I'm really curious about, like, let's start with this little Now This Impact thing. All right. With this thing, I haven't watched it yet. But, dude, the difference between how they cover Melania and Michelle Obama. There's a paper mill. Oh, is that what it is? It is a paper mill in West Monroe. All right. Let's go. See, I'm not crazy, man. Dude, that's wild. The shows were always good, though, dude. They were good. They were like younger crowds, but the younger crowds were often like super receptive. The one thing the young crowds would do, right, whenever you played in a town where the average fan, like the fan age was different, right? Like in some towns, I would play in bars. So everything is 21 and over. And then in some towns, I would play in like a storage facility or a coffee shop or a basement or whatever. And in those places, the average age of the fan was like 14, right? Or 15. They were like really young kids that were, so what was interesting though with the young people is in a show that was 21 and over, you usually wouldn't sell a lot because everybody there is spending their money on alcohol. If it was a college town, people would buy your shit. But if it was a regular 21 and over bar, mostly nobody would buy your shit because they were saving their money on liquor. But when you'd play the young area, right? When you'd play the young areas, everybody would buy a t-shirt, but only one of them would buy a CD, right? But you would know that the one person buying the CD was going to burn it for everybody. And so the next time you would play there would be like double or triple the number of kids. You know what I'm saying? So, but they would always buy t-shirts. Like everybody would buy your shirt. Did Epstein hang out there? No, Epstein was not involved in the music scene, to my knowledge, right? I never saw him there. Nobody was really like that, though. Like when you're a musician in the all ages scene, it's like very, like, you know what I'm saying? Like not in the indie scene in the early 2000s, you know? Yeah, that was an era where everybody, like the bands and shit, were all very socially conscious. Especially I played in like the emo / sort of indie rock world, and like everybody there, like even the young kids, like none of them really drank. You know, everybody was straight edge. It's a very different time. You know what I'm saying? If somebody had been creepy like Epstein, they would have probably gotten their ass beat and gotten run out. You know, it's like, I don't know, dude, the music scene that I was in the early 2000s was not degenerates. It was quite the opposite. It was like young, socially conscious people that were like trying to get in touch with their feelings and trying to like make a better world, right? It's crazy. Like thinking about it, you know, because after I started doing those tours was when my girlfriend at the time got pregnant, and that's when I had Bryce. And I wonder if like my outlook on being a dad, I think it was really kind of positive, because the young kids that I would see on tour at that time were so different than the young kids when I was a young kid, right? And so I don't know, man. I had a lot of hope for the world in 2005, and we saw that later in, you know, Obama, right? You know what I'm saying? Like Obama winning in 2008 and then 2012, those young people were the kids that I was playing for in 2004. In 2008, those 14-year-olds were voting. And so that was really magical. And now all of a sudden we're being gripped by like fucking Andrew Tate stands and shit. Like the world, we need to get back to that like good world, right? Change the world for the positive, you know? Open a Patreon? All right, I'll open a Patreon, boss. I will. But yeah, man, it's crazy. So let's just ease in here with this little piece of content right here. All right, you know what I'm saying? This little thing, mid to late 90s. Yeah, no, I see that, Juan. Right, like mid to late 90s were people that were like post Reagan and trying to rebuild the world and shit. You know, gonna need me to get back on tour, create a new group of those young voters. Yeah, you know, I wonder, Entropy, I'll be honest, I wonder what the tour scene is like, because one of the things that I've noticed, right, is third spaces for kids have all but disappeared. Okay. And so back in the early 2000s, there were still third spaces. Okay. I played these really small towns like Dothan, Alabama. And there was a coffee shop that hosted like all the indie bands, and kids would come from 50 miles to descend on Dothan. The same in Red Bank, New Jersey, Sumter, South Carolina. There was like an indie spot, like a coffee shop. And all the kids there were like military brats, because there was a military base in Sumter. So the fan base was like every 6 months, it was totally different kids from all over the world. And so there were still in the early 2000s, a lot of young people that were hosting bands. Young kids were like promoting and being bookers in these small towns, in these third spaces. But I feel like third spaces have kind of disappeared, right? That like, you know what I mean? Like even here in Portland, I don't know of any, okay? When my kid was in high school age, none here that were like third spaces. There were none. There was like the mall, okay? They would go hang out at the mall, but there wasn't a coffee shop that like hosted music, or there wasn't like a music venue for young people, or you know what I mean? Just none, right? And it's like, that's one of the bigger tragedies that we I think are experiencing, that is really can be possibly affecting the self-esteem of young people. Like even at my age, even in the late 70s and early 80s, we had one in Watertown. Okay, it was the roller rink. It was the roller rink, man. And it was like there were no parents in there. Okay, I would get dropped off at the roller rink on a Saturday afternoon, and I would be in there with music, and there was snacks and food and shit, and all like young people around my own age. It's where I learned to like, you know, ask girls how to couple skate, and you know, oftentimes I left leaving dejected and isolated, but like we went week in and week out, and you met friends there and you lost friends there. But it was like, it was a space that was parent free, where all of us, you know, even in middle school, we had a life and an identity that we could create for ourselves at the roller rink that was separate from our parents and Sunday school and all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And like the kids now, all they really have now are like, they have that like online, but it's a lot of it is like fake. You know what I'm saying? It's like missing the face-to-face shit. And so like, that's what's really fucking hard, you know? And I wonder why we like let that stuff sort of disappear, man. You know, let's go. Gives you a dose of dopamine. Let's go, baby. 2 out of 10. 8 away from dance party. Coffee shop on 45th and Woodstock in the middle 90s that had music every weekend. It doesn't exist in PDX now. No, not at all. I mean, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I first got to Portland, there were music venues that were still open here for young people. There were a couple of them. There was one that was in the basement of the Pine Street music venue. I can't remember the names of them, but it was Pine Street. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it, because I found this old website I found this old website. Check this out. I found a thing of the wanteds.com. Okay. I found like a web archive. Okay. Look at this, dude. This was my website. This is a web archive from 2005. Okay. Check this out. I'm going to take you down memory lane real quick. So this was 2005. This was what my website looked like. You had a link to the Wanteds movie. You had a link to my MySpace page. And look at this. These are all the shows I played from 2005 to 2006. Okay. Like in Portland, then San Francisco, Livermore, Redding, San Jose, Sacramento, LA, Lake Havasu, Phoenix, Flagstaff, Provo, Boise, and then Portland. That was like a short tour in 2006. Look at this beast that fucking went from like October and November of 2004. Portland, Bellingham, Spokane, Walla Walla, Missoula, Bozeman, Mandan, North Dakota, Milwaukee, Duluth. Dude, this is crazy, right? But the Portland venue here was Solid State. This was the one that was in the basement of Pine Street. Okay. And in Phoenix, I played at either Modified Arts or a place called the Trunk Space, which was like an art gallery next to this tiki bar, right? That's where I would play in Phoenix. But look at that crazy shows, like this tour from August of 2005 all the way to November of 2005. That was shortly after Bryce was born. But it's looking at this, it's crazy. I sort of went back and let's see where the Monroe, Louisiana one, there it was. It was called the Olive Street Dance Hall, is where I played in Monroe, Louisiana, right? Isn't this website like wild? It is giving you internet flashbacks. It was the typical PHP website, okay, that had like the photo gallery and it had a little like journal. I guess all these links are sort of broken. It doesn't keep the shit together. But I was kind of going back the other day and looking back at a lot of these like gigs. It's pretty wild, dude. There's a lot of shows in like a year and a half, man. And I designed this myself with a little PHP framework, which basically used a static setup, right? You had like the buttons and the image and the header that was static. And then the PHP wrote the code for the little box in here. And depending on what page you did, it like just changed the content in the box. That was my little simple, and you could join the email list. It's pretty wild, dude. That was a little blast from the past. Isn't that funny? Oh, shit. Dude, that's crazy. Dude, PCP? Dude, no, I never did PCP, boss. None of that. Dude, yeah. That was the thing, Entropy. MySpace was what did it, right? Let's go, Valentina. Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. I know you are, Mark. But Entropy, MySpace was what kicked me off with web design. It was, believe it or not, I went to a girl's MySpace page, and she had the song Caring is Creepy by the Shins played when I got to her page. And I sent her a message. Was like, how did you get that song to play? And she like taught me some HTML. And that was when I started learning how to program HTML. And then I worked at this place that used to be in Portland called the Uptown Billiards Club. It was like a fancy pool bar that like a lot of the Intel and sort of rich people used to hang out at. And that's where I met a computer programmer guy who taught me like how to do like PHP. And it really did, yeah. Dude, MySpace was amazing. But of course it got ruined. Like MySpace had it had a sweet spot from like 2004 to like 2006. MySpace, oh, it was amazing. You would meet like people that would actually become your friends and allies, and you would be able to book shows. It was crazy, like for musicians. But then by kind of the middle of 2006, it went downhill, because what started happening is people started using copy and paste, and they would just spam. Oh my God, Valentina, $20 sticker. Let's go. $20 super. Let's fucking go. That is amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much. And so what they would do is they would spam, right? And then pretty soon people stopped helping, because you would your inbox would get like 100 like non-personalized emails from people. And that sort of ruined it. Everybody was using this cut and paste. Like pretty soon musicians who'd never toured were going in and just spamming everybody in town. And it got really sort of negative really quick. And I mean, a lot of these people, they didn't do it right. Like for example, I used to email people to help book tours and help me promote and shit. But the way I used to do it is I would go to the person's page. I would have like a copy and paste section in the middle. And then I would go to a person's page, find the things I connected with them. And then I would write a personal like paragraph for every person I sent it to. Then include the cut and paste middle section with the details. And then a personal outro. So then you're using a combination of cut and paste with personal connection, but not having to write the big bulk of like what you're trying to accomplish, right? But like the people in 2006, they didn't take that route. They weren't good at it. They were just like, oh, help me, spam, spam, spam. And then pretty soon it made it really hard for people like me that actually used it as a bona fide networking tool, because once the spam hit, people stopped tuning in, right? That's kind of what happens, is the bombardment. Yeah, no, I know that Tom, like he didn't, you know, MySpace Tom didn't really want to be, you know, he didn't really want to be like a thing, right? You know, he didn't want to be that thing. Dude, let's go. Shout out Marisol. Let's go. We got you. Thank you, Marisol. Yeah, I mean, he was different. But I believe you still have access to MySpace because I think I've been to my page, right? Right? Like, they don't, like, here it was. This was my page. It doesn't really have much of anything there. It's like kind of defunct, right? That was my MySpace wanted. I had like, connected to 2,800 people and 5,100 that were like fans of the band. But and then my top 8 is like Daphne, Aaron, Strange Young Things. They were from Phoenix. Jordan Richter was the producer of our Failure Looks So Good. Silver Sun Pickups, TV on the Radio, and the Valley Floor, who were a band from somewhere. I don't know where they were from. But yeah, there's not really anything. I don't think there's access to a lot of shit. Like if you go to the photos, right? Or the music. Oh, the music is still there. Oh, crazy. All right, the music is still there. But the photos are gone, are not hosted. So it's like skeletally, it's still there. You have zero experience with social media? Dude, I was an early adopter. Can I just tell you a fun story about social media? Friendster was the first. This was back, dial-up internet, like 2003, right? Early. Friendster had been out for a little while. And I had heard through the rounds, it was Friendster, it was like a dating site, but it was called Friendster, but it was kind of like a dating site. But so I had this situation where I would go on Friendster and I would look for people, and I'm not really an email kind of person. I'm an in the room guy, right? But anyway, I was on Friendster and I saw this girl on Friendster. This is literally, if you want to find out like why, it's almost like this led to me having Bryce, okay, in a weird way. All right, follow my reasoning here. So what happened was, I was on Friendster, okay, and then there was a girl that I was really good friends with that I would hang out with all the time. And so I had like mentioned to this girl, like, oh my God, I saw this girl on Friendster that I am like totally smitten with, but I'm afraid to message her because I'm terrible at like these messaging shit. Like I would just love to meet her. And so my friend was like, Laura was like, let's go to P.F. Chang's and we'll just go have some dinner and lament about it. And I'm like, okay. So we went to P.F. Chang's and the fucking girl from Friendster was our waitress. And I was like, are you shitting me? Like, how crazy is that? Okay. And so I'm like, no fucking way. Right. So her name was Kristen. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like to the waitress, all right, this is going to be kind of crazy for you to process, but I saw you on Friendster like a week ago. And I've actually been thinking about you ever since that. And she was like, oh my God. And so I started hanging out with Kristen. Okay. And I was like mad for this girl. If you listen to my album, Let Go Afterglow, the song Gravity is about Kristen. There's a couple of pieces of songs that were about this girl. I was like totally smitten with her. Now, that girl became like, I thought she was into me too. She started hanging out at the bar I worked at every night. We hung out after work every night, nothing romantic, but I thought it was like leading that way. And then what happened was about a month later, she came into my workplace one day and she told me, well, first I had this weird dream where I kept getting into a car accident with a van that was painted like this jacket she used to wear. I had that recurring dream for like 3 days. And then she came in one night. I hadn't seen her. She came in one night and told me she had this boyfriend in Salt Lake City and he had just called her. He hadn't called her in a month. And I was like, oh, fuck. I was all heartbroken because I realized she was only hanging out with me so much because she was like miffed at her boyfriend. And so there was this big sort of heartbreak scenario, right? Now, what had happened was I was going through this push and pull with her where like I kind of wanted to date her and I was trying to process us just being friends. And she, though, like the more I became comfortable with being friends, the less she wanted to hang out, right? She really liked it when I was smitten with her. So it got very complicated. But anyway, I took her to a party at the house of my son's mother. Okay. And I didn't know my son's mother at the time. I just went to a party at my son's mother's house with Kristen. And I was in the middle of my obsession with her. And then eventually I got my heart broken by her. Okay. And when I realized it wasn't going to work out. And so I just stopped hanging out with Kristen. And then I heard through the grapevine that one of the women who lived in the house I had been at had a crush on me. That was my son's mom. And so I like sort of rebounded to dating her. And then she moved in with me and then she got pregnant. And that's how I ended up having Bryce. Okay. But then what happened, the way gravity took place is I finally like wrapped my head around being friends with the heartbreak girl after I'd figured it all out and was like, you know what? I don't need to be like, I don't need to date you. I'm totally cool. Like just being friends. I finally got a handle on this after I wrote Gravity. And then the heartbreak girl, Kristen, she never called me again after that. Once I made peace with being her friend, she just bailed. But later she became a roommate of somebody that like I was hanging out with when I met Jenny. And now I still, you know, I'm still friends with her on fucking on Instagram or whatever. Like I'm friends with like almost all my exes on Instagram. But isn't that weird? Dude. All my exes or near exes or whatever you want to call them. But it's like crazy how these little things like fuel. There's so many cross paths, especially here in Portland. Like Portland is really small. If you date here, if you date in the city of Portland or whatever, you will like meet people who know people who know people who, you know what I'm saying, et cetera, right? Dude, isn't that crazy? That's pretty wild, man. Oh, shit. But yeah, so that was wild. Like what is funny is like, you know, it's just one of those things where you gotta wonder, right? If I hadn't met that girl and gone through the chaos of that up and down sort of relationship, would I have gone to that party that night? Would I have met Bryce's mom? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, Aaron, if I had somebody who was abusive, I would not be friends with them. You know what I mean? Right? I feel you. Don't do that. Don't be friends with abusive exes. For sure, for sure. But yeah, I think that's funny though. I think it's pretty wild how like the webs we weave. All right? Yeah, no, Ann Arbor, I bet, is like crazy small. Dude, P.F. Chang's. Yeah, that was the wildest thing though, back in those days. Like I was smitten with this girl on Friendster. I go to P.F. Chang's and sure enough, if she isn't my waitress. And I was like, all right, that's a sign. That's a definite sign. Ultimately, I ended up not dating her though. I ended up meeting the woman that I would have a kid with, right? And then I ended up not being with her either, but you know, I ended up with a series of events, you know, another series of, I don't know, fucking 8 years of events that led me to Jenny. It's pretty wild. Pretty wild. Yeah, no, I am like, I think on Instagram, I am connected to like 6 or 7 of my ex people, Facebook too, right? I go back pretty far. I think I'm still Facebook friends with my first live-in girlfriend, right? Or yeah, I think so. I know we've like chatted on Facebook. I don't know if we're actually friends or not, but like that was all the way from like 1990. I mean, I'm sort of a stay in contact for the most part online and stuff. You know, I've been pretty chill about that. It's, you know, obviously people that I was a total fucking douche to, not so much. And I think some of it too was AA, like doing a ninth step when you go make amends. I actually went and sought out a lot of, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my exes and old daters and shit. And, you know, so, you know, I had a lot of experience of doing that. Might have another series of events that leads me to Lauren Boebert. Oh no, dude, not Lauren Boebert. Can it at least lead me to AOC or something? Does it have to lead me to Bobby? Right? Dude, that would be brutal. Right? Not the Bobes. Right? Please. Dude, does it have me? Boebert will give me a hand jibber? Dude, Boebert is like, you know, I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, back in the day, I would have probably, you know, I would have climbed on the pony, dude. Right? No, nobody was left behind, dude. I was like George Bush, man. No woman was left behind back in the day. Right? I was back in my heyday. I dated like anybody and everybody, you know. Boebert I would have had no problem with that back in the rock days. Dude, it was just experiential. You know what I mean? I didn't treat like my interactions back then when I was sort of a carouser. I did not treat them as like, I wasn't looking for a trophy or somebody that was going to impress everyone. I just like sampled everybody that I could, like all varieties, all different shapes and sizes and colors and ethnic backgrounds. I just loved, my thing was like, I went out. I mean, I was very open about it. I wasn't trying to reel people in and pretending that I was going to be boyfriend, girlfriend or shit. I went out looking for a partner to have sex with when I went out, and I did that every night. And when I found somebody who wanted to have sex, we went and we had sex. And sometimes it was a night, sometimes it was a weekend, sometimes it was, a week, sometimes it was every couple of weeks we would sort of rekindle it. But then it got complicated when I liked them, because sometimes I liked them and they just were having sex with me. And that was really complicated. And sometimes they liked me and it got complicated, because that's a really dangerous spot when you're just having like open sex and they're having, they're developing feelings, or they're having sex and you're developing feelings, because it's real easy to sort of like hold on to them. You know what I mean? Sounds like sex addict behavior. Yeah. See, I don't know, man. I don't know if it was sex addict behavior, Bat Dad, because when I got sober, I did go to like SA to explore if I had a sex addiction, but it was a lot different than those guys. And that's not saying that there wasn't some addiction. I think for me, it was less about sex addiction. I was addicted to drugs and alcohol. For me, it was more about working out like some childhood abuse that I had experienced, and a fear of intimacy, that like intimacy and closeness was because the people who abused me were really close family. And so I became very averse to closeness, right? So it was safe for me to be having sexual relationships with somebody if I didn't know their name, or if we didn't know a lot about each other. It was more like working out trauma, because I did explore SA, and the people in SA were like, they definitely had something with sex that I did not have, you know? And like, I'm definitely was a drug addict and an alcoholic, but it's not like I could use sexual attention addictively, but I never really had that, like, I don't know, I never really had that thing that like, because I know people in SA and they have a thing. They have a thing where it's like it's much more hidden. Their thing is much more of a I don't know, a weird shame spiral hiding sort of thing. And now that doesn't mean mine wasn't complicated, because I definitely hurt some people and I definitely got hurt. It's looking back on it now, you know, I could see how my trauma was working, right? And unraveling that. I mean, it's weird. Sex is a weird thing, guys, because you can treat it like a sport and you can have a connection to it as though it's just feeling good and physical activity that is intimate. And though it also though ties in, because it's like the mechanism by which we create other human beings, it does tie into some higher level spiritual things. So you can go in with, like, I went in sometimes with a girl where we both agreed this was just a fling and whatever, but it did open up some high level spiritual things that were like, you know, when you open that type of thing up with somebody you don't know, it can have really unpredictable effects. So to me, it's always been this wondrous thing, because it's like this crazy playground that can be filled with like fun and hedonism and really good feelings and pleasure. And it simultaneously, though, can be tied to our biggest fears and insecurities and our quandaries about like our place in the universe. All of that can get unlocked, right? With a simple fucking experience. It's like wild, man. But I'm sort of a lot of how I operate is an equal opportunity experiencer, right? If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I look at experiences as explorations, right? You know what I mean? Like even something that is bad, like, oh, I know this is going to hurt. I know this isn't good for me, but I'm going to go have the experience anyway. And I'm going to experience the hurt, and I'm going to get hurt and I'm going to get stung, but I'm going to go see what that experience of getting stung feels like. And then I come out of it and I might even, I'm going to go get hurt again and see what happens. Right. But like, I mean, some people like are real adamant about avoiding painful experiences. And I have just not been like that for whatever reason. I've been as intrigued about experiencing painful experiences as I am about experiencing pleasurable ones, you know? So like if I were to get into a situation of, I might really get hurt here, oftentimes I'll go in there and just get hurt and then figure it out afterwards, because I'd rather have the experience and get hurt than to not have experienced what it is altogether. Right. And some people don't operate like that. Other people are very, no, I avoid things where you get hurt. And for me, I don't mind getting hurt. I'm not afraid of getting hurt. And so that though has made like creative pursuits much easier for me, right? Because I'll put all my shit into a creative endeavor and knowing huge risk, this is going to devastate me, break my heart. And I just don't care. I'm like, okay, I'm going all in. And then maybe I break my heart and it takes me a year to recover, but I just don't care, right? I just don't care. I'm going to go in and I'm going to have that experience and I'm going to get something from it, you know? And that's kind of how I've lived. And it's really interesting too, because me and Jenny was somebody who's much more avoidant in a way, and in some ways she's like, man, she'll go out there and get her heart broken. You know what I mean? In really ways that I would be kind of avoidant. So we're a good like combo. But I don't recommend, I mean, I do recommend, like sometimes putting yourself out there and being willing to get a broken heart, you know? And you do, though, I think you do have to be a little careful, though, because sometimes, you know, Rachel said something there, or is it Rachel or Rochelle? I don't know which one it is, but I think it's Rochelle, so you gotta, the red flags is a thing, though. It's Rachel. Okay, good. So you do have to be careful, though, because I think, like, there's one thing is like seeing a situation where, ooh, this might break my heart and I'm going to go in it anyway. But sometimes there are like red flags that are more serious where you don't want to go in because you know it could lead to like physical harm or something really bad happen. I mean, there were some times where, you know, I saw some really serious red flags that, you know, if you're seeing red flags about like spousal abuse or like real predatory shit, you don't want to do that. Like, you have to kind of hone, you know, your thing. I mean, even with me, with my whole, I'm not afraid of experiencing some pain, I was smart about it. And sometimes when I would see things that were red flags that like, ooh, this could like ruin me, like those types of things, I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to be ruined. I don't mind a little heartbreak, but I don't need to get into something that's going to be like spousal abuse. And yeah, I mean, Hernan, you're not wrong about the ignoring the red flags. Can I just tell you right there that what you said, Hernan said, sometimes we ignore the red flags. And this is something about American society in particular that I really don't fucking like, okay? And it is because we get taught to subjugate our instincts, and we all have a little power. It's like a feeling in your gut. It's like a feeling in your chest. It's like a weird sense of dread or a deja vu or some type of like, you know, these things, everything I'm seeing and hearing just doesn't add up. Like, we know these. Our stomach instincts tell us, like, yeah, don't fucking go there. But we then are, well, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be right. We then start talking ourselves out of trusting our instincts because we're taught to be appropriate, right? Especially women. Don't be bitchy. Don't be too aggressive. Don't be too short with people. You got to be, you know, you got to be right. You got to be amenable to them. And a lot of women die because of that shit, because they fucking go with people that they're getting a bad feeling about and they're just trying to be nice and not be a bitchy person, and they fucking end up dead. And, you know, a lot of that suppressing your instincts, I feel like, is attached to rape culture and patriarchy, right? It's like one of the operative modes in patriarchy for the types of people in the patriarchal systems that take advantage of people. They sell you socially to not trust your instincts. It makes you a better victim, okay, to the predators, you know? And so I think like we it's important for us to find a way to get back in touch with our instincts. Like for me, meditation and like Bikram yoga really fucking went, you know, did a lot of that, and EMDR did a lot of fucking work. And yes, Aaron is right. You do not have to be nice to men who give you the creeps. And what's more, you don't have to feel bad if a guy gives you the creeps. Recognize that sign, okay? Recognize that sign. And yeah, dude, I agree with Juan. I do feel like I'm in an abusive relationship with America right now, dude. I'm with you, Juan. I'm with you, bro. I'm right there. All right, let's watch this little piece of content, shall we? All right? Dude, that's okay. You be blazed. Be best. All right? Ted Cruz, fuck Ted Cruz.
And the contrast in the media's treatment of Melania Trump and Michelle Obama. You don't want to miss this.
Michelle, Merchant of Death Obama.
The bitter half of the Obama administration.
Maybe we should call her Lady Michelle Obama.
It's like we have a king and queen.
Michelle Obama is so like the Duchess when she speaks
kind of
about.
Annoying,
She is. Because, by the way, they're not
she
just.
be eating? She needs to drop a few.
Melania Trump is spectacular in every way, and she is a dazzling representative of the United States.
She is a woman of strength and should be revered. Not made fun of.
The woman is beautiful inside and out.
Melania Trump is one of the classiest, most elegant, smartest women I know.
And it's
Dude, Melania Trump is like, she is such a transactional degenerate. It's not even funny,
impossible
bro.
for people not to have the pants charmed off of them when she shows up.
America and the world seems to have fallen in love with the First Lady, Melania Trump.
Michelle Obama, she may not be proud of her country, but she's certainly proud of her wardrobe.
The First Lady was caught on camera wearing shorts. And some people think this is a big no-no for a First Lady. The First Lady was also criticized for wearing a sleeveless gown to the inaugural ball.
When she opened up the White House vegetable garden, she was wearing a pair of boots that cost $775.
Running around in almost a $7,000 jacket really sends a conflicting message.
The real injustice is the press's attention on what she's wearing rather than what she does.
Melania Trump always looks so stunning
Dude,
and so beautiful. I just
what
want her
the
wardrobe.
hell?
She tends to try to make statements by her appearance.
They commented on her shoes, that she had heels on at one point before she changed into sneakers.
Pretty much, Michelle Obama got a pass. Interestingly, Michelle Obama, she gets out of a vehicle. She's carrying a bag that was $1,200, and nobody said a thing.
No one said a thing about her $500 land bin sneakers either.
Reportedly spending $2,000 on this sundress.
What?
The First Lady changed into a $950 skirt just hours later.
You'd think maybe the press would have more to worry about than what the First Lady wears, but no.
Lives are at stake here. Why are we worried about fashion right now?
Now that a Republican is president, apparently the First Lady is expected to dress like a poor person.
You can't criticize someone for their clothes, for their wardrobe choices.
First Lady Michelle Obama stepped out wearing an expensive designer jacket for a reception at Buckingham Palace. The price tag, $6,800.
Melania Trump looks stunning.
She looked beautiful,
Right?
as always.
We just take that for granted.
Melania Trump always certainly looks stunning and always a fashionista.
Dude,
in
so
moments like this.
crazy.
Taking the nanny state to the new level, Michelle Obama is suggesting what you should feed your children.
This isn't about science. It never has been.
Dude, remember when Michelle Obama just tried to have healthy school lunches and they freaked out? And now they're like, dude, you know what I'm saying? RFK Jr. could be like, we're going to start feeding the kids concrete with a spoonful of measles, and everybody would be like, yay, saving our kids. Like, heroin addict, we love you, RFK. Oh my God, dude.
It's about control.
Taxpayers would be outraged that they're going to be asked to spend another $4.5 billion to elevate Michelle Obama to sainthood.
If a First Lady gets political and places herself in the political arena, then I think we need to give her the credit.
It's wonderful that the First Lady is reaching out to young people.
This is something the First Lady has been very passionate about, so I commend her for her choices.
Can you imagine if we would sit here on Fox News and attack Michelle Obama for something that she was trying to do to better the country?
Big Mama or Big Nanny is wagging her fingers at the food industry.
Michelle Obama talks healthy food eating, then goes out and eats cheeseburgers.
Is the First Lady overstepping
Dude.
her bounds?
Dude, they're
The general
so
rule with First
brutal.
Ladies that they're off limits.
You don't attack the First Lady unless, like, she does something really newsworthy.
Michelle Obama thinks being America's First Lady is, quote, hell.
She's doing pretty well. She takes trips to New York, Broadway plays, out to dinner.
She's got a great life.
And fancy date nights.
Fancy date nights in New York and traveling the country and, fancy clothes. I don't know what she's complaining about.
They can't stop disparaging her. Why is there such an obsession over her?
It's so offensive. Like, what did Melania Trump ever to do with any of these people?
And the public is seeing these Marie Antoinette vacations that she's taking, and they're not liking it.
Now you're hearing Michelle Antoinette on the internet.
Pundits decide those heels were proof that the First Lady is a modern-day Marie Antoinette.
They're harpies. They're jealous and they're envious.
Dude,
Michelle
that shit
Obama's
is
face
crazy,
is like this.
bro.
She tries to look like she's smiling, but she can't pull it off. Her posture is bad. Her mouth is in a bad place, even her eyes.
And then we had the disgusting story about Michelle Obama's bottom.
Michelle Obama's bottom? I don't know where that was. I must have missed that one.
Melania Trump just posed for her official White House portrait. But of course, liberals found reasons to bash her.
In a fair world, of course, Melania Trump would be splashed over every fashion magazine in America.
I have never seen a first lady be attacked like this, like Melania Trump has.
I don't believe this ever would have happened, or can I think of it happening, to Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama's whining that she can't tweet.
Are we to believe that she's kidding or just haphazardly stringing words together and they came out in a sentence?
Is there an out-of-touchness there?
Very.
Political tone deafness of staggering proportion.
They would never do this to Michelle Obama, would they?
It would be outrage all over the place if somebody said this, you know, God forbid, about Michelle Obama.
Women are supposed to stick together. Even Hillary Clinton said that.
It's a glaring double standard. It has to end. It's so obvious. Leave the First Lady alone.
There's a double standard. We all know this. I mean,
dude, isn't that funny? Like, oh my God, dude, that shit is so. I mean, obviously, we know this is one of the things that's hard about MAGA, right? Is the fact that so much of their shit is operating under the radar. For example, let's take a quick look at this tweet by Laura Loomer, okay? That really sums it up, okay? Because I don't know if you saw what Laura Loomer did the other day, okay? But Laura Loomer made a comment that caused everybody on the internet to start reacting. Let me find the reply, and then we will talk about it, okay? But let me find the reply for starters. Sorry, I've been like, oh, here it is. Okay, so here's the thing that we have. So Laura Loomer made a tweet, okay, that, let me find, hold on, I got to find the original tweet. Yeah, this is pretty gross, okay? Now, so Laura Loomer made this tweet, okay? That said, alligator lives matter. The good news is alligators are guaranteed at least 65 million meals if we get started now. Okay, now, what's crazy about this tweet is this was after the alligator Alcatraz opened up, where they talk about putting the undocumented in this, you know, tent city in Florida where they're going to get eaten by wildlife. Now, 65 million is the number, the total number of Hispanic Americans. 65 million is the total number of Hispanic Americans in this country. So this tweet, Laura Loomer is saying, we're going to kill all of the Hispanic people in America, right? That's what she's saying. The good news is we can have the alligators get rid of all the Hispanic people in America. Okay, this is like so toxic. Okay, and like this person says, she wasn't suspended, right? Feeding 65 million people to alligators. It's not a joke. It's eliminationist hate speech. Okay, now you ready? And yes, dude, she's Jewish, which is really weird for her to have that tact, considering her, you know, like obviously the shit that she's learned about her own people. Now, you ready? But see, here's where it gets bad, because Laura Loomer does this and she knows what she's doing, okay? She knows 65 million is the entire population. She knows the reference she is making. She chose that number specifically, okay? But now, here's the problem I have with the right wing in America, and particularly with MAGA, is how disingenuous they are. Because she will go out on a limb and make a statement like this that's very direct. This is like Elon's fucking Roman salute. They know what they're doing, but then they won't cop to it. They lie, they sneak, they hide, they pretend like they didn't do what they did. They try to gaslight us. They don't have any balls, okay? They don't have any integrity, okay? If you make a statement, even if you're making a statement to Barb and to zing something. If you have integrity, you stand by and say, yeah, I made that statement, and here's why I made it, and this is how I feel. But the Republicans, the MAGA Republicans, they don't do that. They cower, and then they act like a victim when they get called out and try to gaslight you saying, oh, I didn't say the thing that I really said. Now, what ended up happening is she then tweeted something that said, what's wrong with feeding the alligators? And then she got marked for violent speech, okay? And then she said, how is telling a joke about alligator Alcatraz violent speech, Elon Musk? I thought we were allowed to tell jokes here, especially jokes about criminal illegal aliens, she says. But the 65 million wasn't a joke about criminal undocumented people. Her joke was about identifying all Hispanic people in America for elimination and eradication by alligators. And then she says here, look at this. She says, liberals are so dumb. Imagine crying over tweets about alligators. So I'm not allowed to joke about illegal alien criminals who have murdered innocent Americans. But Khomeini Jr., she now says Khomeini, Iran, she now brings the Ayatollah of Iran into this. He's allowed to call for actual violence and terrorism on a daily basis, she says. She says, can you please review this absurdity, Elon Musk? She's asking to speak to the manager. We all know the worst of the worst are being sent to alligator Alcatraz. I guess you can't joke about gators and criminals on X anymore. So she's totally denying it. And I said, I fucking called her out. I said, look, somebody gave me the clap. I said, you didn't joke about criminals, you disingenuous bitch. You implied all Hispanics. See, this is what's really funny about you MAGA shitheels. You never have the guts to own up to the shit you do. Always just cowardly to the core. This is why we wipe the floor with you. And guys, this is why we will win. This is why we will win, guys. This is why, sure, this second civil rights movement, it's going to be hard. We're going to lose some battles. We're going to eat some shit along the way. But we're going to win because they're cowards, okay? They're cowards. They hide behind trolling and gaslighting and doing things that are outrageous and then acting like victims afterwards. But you can't have a sustained movement that makes real progress unless it's rooted in actual conviction, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like the people who fought to end segregation, they weren't trolling. They weren't just trying to get a rise out of the KKK or the white supremacists down in the South. They were fueled by actual conviction. They were fueled by an actual movement of like doing something very concrete for the world, and then they put themselves out there for it, taking the lumps as they came. And some of them even died. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is these guys they're liars, they're cheats, they're trolls. They say things and then play the victim afterwards, and they try to wriggle out. They try to change the rules. They try to talk to the manager or the powerful rich person to help them like take power over us. And I'm just telling you, long term, this stuff does not win. Okay? Even if it looks like it's winning in the short term, even if they win a little bit in the propaganda campaign, this stuff doesn't win. Because when push comes to shove, they're not going to stand up and take their knocks. Okay? They're going to run and hide the same way they run and hide when they get called out on their racism and their xenophobia. And so remember that, okay? In the next couple of years, we got to remember that, okay? We got to remember, we got to stay in touch with that and realize that the power of the conviction is what holds us firm, okay? You know what I mean? It's like they don't have that. Even when they act like they do, they don't have it. Like even somebody like Riley Gaines and her transphobia, Riley Gaines is only powerful when she's in a space with a bunch of other transphobes circling around her. when she went to San Francisco State, she was like claiming she was assaulted and hiding in a classroom, like making videos, shaking her camera to make it seem like everyone was attacking her because they're actually scared. They're actually filled with fear, and they actually are only powerful when their other radicalized people are like around them, like, yes, you're right, you're doing it. They're like they need that energy, you know? And you're right. I mean, what Rachel said there, it's hard because they do appear to gain in the short term because the easy part of like looking together, looking like a movement, looking unified, it's real easy to look that way on the internet. And when they're loud, they're the loudest and they say the nastiest shit. So they're the most abrasive. So they cut, like they'll be willing to cut their fellow man like quicker and with more venom than people with compassion and empathy would. So they get these short-term gains, but long-term, it doesn't last, okay? It doesn't last. And let me just tell you that, you know, it's been my experience that the best way to defeat a bully is to keep showing up, right? That's literally all you got to do to defeat a bully is keep showing up, keep speaking up. You just keep showing up every time because they try to get you to not show up. That's the game, okay? They bully and they try to, you know, dim your light, silence your voice, get you to no longer protest. So then they can do whatever they want. And as long as you keep showing up and you keep sticking your fucking your fucking wrench right in their spokes, no matter what they do, you just show up. Here it is. Spoken it again. Yep, it's right in the spokes. It's right in the spokes. And the reality is that renders them powerless over time. You know, it does. You know what I'm saying? And yes, unflappability. I mean, it's really interesting. Like I said, I mentioned a week or so ago, I had a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, you know, probably like 8 years or something. And he and I lost touch. And I've contacted him on Instagram not too long ago. We went out and we had a juice. We had a yerba mate juice. And he's, you know, gone through a life change, is doing something totally different with his life than he had been. And we had a little bit of discussion about the Andrew Tate thing and the seas of hate that I got on TikTok and the internet after sort of standing up to Andrew Tate, having been a gamer, and all the people that made all this content, like, you know, calling me the pink-haired beta cuck and all this nasty shit, the slurs, I got death threats, all this crazy shit from all these incel gamer people. And he was like, didn't that bother you? And I was like, you know, I mean, it did, because, you know, a lot of days I just wouldn't go in the comments of that shit because I didn't need to see what they were saying. But I was like, oddly enough, I just was so like the conviction and what I'm fighting for is like such the right thing that all of that noise was just like, was like a wake at the bottom of a boat, right? That I was just churning through, and very little of it was getting up on the fucking actual deck of the boat because of the conviction. You know what I'm saying? And right, you know what I mean? And like, I see this because obviously I interact with Riley Gaines a lot because trans issues are really important to me. And one of the things I've noticed about Riley is she's only powerful when they have a win. Okay, when they don't have a win, she is negative and doomsday and filled with like self-hatred and vitriol, right? The only time they are like powerful is when they've got a win or their trolling has, in their eyes, succeeded. They've caused some type of harm. And that is such a dead giveaway, right? Because the reality is when you have the real conviction, you don't need the win. I mean, you're seeking the win, but you're walking a path. It's not about the win. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go back to people like MLK, okay, and even people like Rosa Parks and shit, right? They weren't needing the win. They were just walking a path, right? They had a conviction that they expressed and they stood by, and it wasn't about like having to win the actual thing. It was just showing up and walking their path. And we have to remember that, right? Don't get too fucking like crazy about the wins, and don't get too down about the losses, and realize that in the end, like, humanity and compassion and civil rights is going to win out, okay? And especially with AI getting into the mix and this sort of like higher intelligence coming onto the scene, we're absolutely going to win this. I mean, it's going to be a fight, and it's going to take a long time, but if you look back, you ready? Dude, there is not, like, nobody ever went back to chattel slavery, okay? You know what I'm saying? There's still parts of the country that are, you know, want to go back to segregation. They want to go back to, like, the way the world was in 1700s, 1800s, but you always go forward. You don't ever really go back. You know what I'm saying? You don't ever really go back. You cried for like 2 days when Trump won. That's okay though, Aaron. That's all right. Like, it's good to be in touch with that emotion. Cry it up. You know what I'm saying? Cry it up, and, you know, and like fucking Rosa Parks was based on a 15-year-old pregnant girl. I don't know what you're talking about. Rosa Parks was somebody who actually sat down on a city bus there, boss, right? Was based on, like, dude, you need to put the fucking 𝗙 pipe down. The 4chan pipe, put the 4chan pipe away. Dude, Rosa Parks is a real person, bro. She exists, dude. I'm not looking it up, bro. Dude, look it up. What are you talking about? You're a clown, dude. Come on now. You look it up. All right? Yeah. Oh, he's talking about the fact that there was somebody before Rosa? Yeah, but that's like, I mean, dude, that, like, I'm sure there were other people who fucking took a stand like that, right? F off? Dude, you F off, dude. Get out of my chat, bro. Later. Smell ya. Dude, I'm sorry. I've wanted to actually ban that person for a while because I've noticed the way they were sort of like borderline being a fucking weirdo. He's correct about Rosa Parks. What? No, I mean, he said that she was based on a 16-year-old girl. So, like, Rosa Parks is a real person, right? She is a real person. She's not based on anyone, okay? You know what I'm saying? If you're saying that somebody else sat on a bus and did a protest like that, then yes, okay? But, like, you know what I mean? Dude, but saying that she was not based on anyone. You know what I mean? I mean, right? Like, the fact of the matter is all he was talking about is, like, the fact that she's known as the mother of the civil rights movement, but somebody else did that protest before her, but she was the one who went national, right? You know what I mean? But, you know what I'm saying? They use someone prior, but it doesn't matter. Like, dude, none of that matters. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Rosa Parks sat on a bus and like did a protest. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, she did the protest. It doesn't matter, like, who did what. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if they tried somebody else was supposed to do it, and then that person didn't do it. None of that matters. The point is Rosa Parks did that thing on the bus, and she became known for it, okay? Whether she was put up to it, or somebody did it before, somebody else was supposed to do it, and they dropped out, it does not fucking matter, okay? If JFK, right, if somebody else had rode in that car and JFK didn't get shot, somebody else got shot. You know what I'm saying? She's a real person who really sat on a bus and fucking took a stand. You know what I'm saying? You know? Like who was supposed to do it, or the fact that somebody else was supposed to do that protest does not matter. The person that did the protest and got the media attention was Rosa fucking Parks. You know what I'm saying? And like, so this idea that like he was trying to diminish her because it was an organized protest, but so what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's an organized protest, okay? I mean, if you look at Brown versus Board of Education, okay, that was an organized protest. The person that walked into the school and said, I'm going to fucking, right? I mean, all of that shit was part of the civil rights movement. But that doesn't change the fact that Rosa Parks did that. You know what I mean? She did it because of her conviction. She didn't get like, I'm sitting on this bus. I did this accidentally. Like the whole point is that guy who I banned from my chat was trying to diminish what Rosa Parks did because why? Because her fucking protest was part of a larger civil rights movement? Like, fuck you. The whole point of it is, yeah, it's all part of a larger civil rights movement. No Kings is a part of a larger movement. That's the whole point, okay? That's what you do. The larger movement finds people who are willing to live by their convictions, and they put them in the limelight, and then they go take that fight. That doesn't diminish the fight. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be like, oh, I'm some individual detached from the whole civil rights movement out there changing the whole world. You're dumb if you don't realize that everything in the civil rights movement was fucking part of a larger movement. You know what I mean? And yes, that guy was very passive aggressive before. I've wanted to ban that guy for days. And I'm glad he's gone, right? Because I know that he was one of those guys that's subtly chipping away, but he was doing it in a way that was like hard to call out. But now he's gone. And if he's still watching, fuck you, buddy. Yeah, now we don't have to listen to your shit anyway. I brought up Rosa. Okay, I brought up Rosa because what she did out of conviction. Because think about this, guys. Okay, think about this. Regardless of who was set to do the bus thing, right? All right, you ready? Just listen to this. Just listen to this. Hold on. Follow this train of thought, okay? Because I want to take you down the Rosa Parks trail, okay? Because, you ready? So, right? And, but so anyway, the thing about it is so some girl's supposed to do the bus protest. Okay, you ready? You ready? So some girl's supposed to do the bus protest. And for whatever reason, she doesn't do it. So the civil rights leaders are like, all right, we're planning on doing this bus protest. Now, the point being of someone like Rosa Parks, if she steps in and says, I'm going to do that protest, you ready? So the thing about this is when Rosa Parks did that and did that thing on the bus and became the face of that protest, she risked her life being destroyed. She risked her life being ended, right? She risked like having no fucking, you know what I mean? Like who knows what could have happened to her? The whole Southern KKK energy would be directed at her, right? The reality is she, by stepping in and doing that, was risking everything to be a part of that protest, okay? And she gets credit for that. You don't get to diminish that because, you know, because somebody was fucking gonna do that before, right? Yeah, sorry, that guy felt like he was trolling too. I'm fucking cleaning him up, dude. Yeah, and in the end, the credit does go to the one who showed up and actually like did the protest. Now, what's crazy about it though is there may, I'm sure there were other people who did a similar protest that weren't part of the larger civil rights movement, because there were a lot of people that, like, outside of the civil rights movement, there were people that resisted all through the South. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? All through the South. And not a lot, everybody didn't get the credit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody just didn't get the credit. But again, I don't like the fucking people being trolly and fucking weird in chat. And if you do that, I'm just like removing you from chat. I'm wasting zero time with fucking people that are trolls. I am, seriously. I have no time for trolls. I don't mind eliminating you. I'm not afraid that if I eliminate all the trolls, I won't be able to like make a living and build a community. So troll as you like, but realize there will be consequences and you will be gone. Right? Oh shit. Dude, based on. Dude, what an idiot, bro. Oh, she was based on a 16-year-old. Yeah. Based on. That's funny. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. No, I know the person, the original person who did it, was this, right? I know who you're talking about. It's Claudette Colvin, right? It's this person, right? You know what I'm saying? I know who this is. You know what I mean? But again, right? The thing about it is like this, her, like the fact that hers didn't take and hers, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like we know about this, but this has nothing to do with Rosa Parks, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like arguing, I'm not arguing about Rosa Parks being the first fucking person, whatever, but like, you can't act like Rosa Parks didn't have a fucking ballistic, like, outcome, okay? This girl did this thing, but she did not have the outcome, right? It's not about, oh, who's the first of the movement. That has nothing to do with it, okay? Rosa Parks is somebody that had an impact. This girl had an impact. There's hundreds of people that had an impact, but Rosa, yes, Rosa's stuck for whatever reason, right? The media, the right place, the right time, whatever, right? But like this whole discussion is dumb because the thing is I never said Rosa Parks was the only fucking person who ever like protested. The point of the matter is Rosa Parks. There's a street in Portland named Rosa Parks. Okay. Why? Because her protest resonated. It hit at the right time. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like the same way that like, you know, Zohran Mamdani, okay? He's hitting right now, right? Is he the first Muslim guy to run for mayor in America? Probably not, okay? But for whatever reason, he was the right guy at the right place, and it's hitting. But my whole point, though, was about the fact that Rosa Parks did what she did because of her convictions. And that's why, you know, no matter what happened, she was going to be fine, okay? And we won that battle. And we will win this. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Dude. Yeah. I mean, dude, I don't even care about that person. I'm getting rid of them. I'm glad this fucking happened. Right? Dude, GG's, baby. Dude, but what I don't understand, I mean, you know, how could he text you? Dude. Dude, you guys need to get off of it. Get off the trolls, right? Yeah, well, dude, at the end, I mean, I'll tell you this, guys. You ready? I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? I'll be honest. I think the reality of it is this. It probably happened the way it happened because of the demeanors, right? Because a 16-year-old or 15-year-old pregnant black girl was going to get judged for being pregnant, for being 16, right? You know what I mean? I mean, and I'm not diminishing what she did, because obviously what she did was powerful and set the tone. Like, there wouldn't have been a Rosa Parks without her. But I don't think if it had just been Claudette Colvin, I don't think the whole thing would have gone down the way it did. Because part of what made Rosa Parks resonate so much is she was above reproach, okay? A 16-year-old pregnant girl would have been vilified in the media. You know what I'm saying? She would have been vilified. She would have been so easily dismissed. But Rosa Parks was like, didn't have any of that like baggage, as they say, you know? I mean, which is really difficult in movements like that, is your baggage can really tie you down. You know, if you're a leader in some type of civil rights thing and they find the tiniest thing about you, especially back then, you know, under 18-year-old people being pregnant was like a huge fucking no-no, right? Especially, right? I mean, it wasn't a huge no-no if you were white. If you were white, you got married, you got blessings, and you know what I'm saying? But anyway, my whole point is about the fact that none of that is important. What's important is Rosa Parks had a conviction and she stood by it and she put her life on the line for that conviction. And that's why that shit changed. Okay. If you go back to the civil rights movement, to the people that were trying to stop them, the KKK people, the cross burners and all that, those people did not put their lives on the line. Those people hid in groups and you know, with their pickup trucks and their fucking groups of people that tried to terrorize individual black people and lynch them and shit. They wore hoods, right? They were all operating from a place of like hiding and cowardice, because what they're working from didn't have the same conviction, okay? They were not going to stand out there and put their lives on the line for their white supremacy movement. And now it's a little different, though, because Trump being in office, a lot more people are taking their hoods off now than before. But, you know what I mean? They are, dude. A lot of hoods are off, okay? They are. A lot of fucking hoods are off. But dude, this right here is, these people are fucking disingenuous. You know what I mean? Dude, you know, and people died. Dude, people died in the fucking civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy now because we resist ICE and everybody freaks out, right? Somebody spray paints a building or burns a police station and everybody freaks out. But like, dude, people were getting murdered, okay? People were getting murdered in the fucking civil rights movement. You know what I'm saying? They were getting murdered, dude. Isn't that crazy? That like young people, there were young civil rights workers from the North that were going down to the South doing outreach, trying to bring community members together that were not even, you know what I'm saying? They were not even a part of the group. Right? And Shiloh, no, I don't think the trolls are out in force. I think the reality is probably just one really lonely person that's probably got 10 YouTube accounts. Is what it really is. One lonely, hurt, fucking negative person that is like, but they're gonna burn out and fade away. They always do. They always do, baby. Let's go. Oh, shit, bro. Dude, I give two shits for trolls. I mean, I feel bad for people that are lonely seeking negative attention like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad because it's like, you know, it's hard. It's hard to build anything for yourself when you're stuck in a loop like that. But moving on. All right. Let's watch. I want to watch the Trump signing. We're going to fucking move on here, dude. I haven't seen this yet of him signing the big bill. Right? You ready? Let's go, baby. Oh, shit.
Let me go back now.
Dude, all right, first off, let's just look at these guys. Because look at him, dude. Dude, he is such a schlump, bro. He is. Look at how, like, I don't know, dude. He's like barely making it down the fucking stairs. You know what I'm saying? He's like, and Melania is almost like guiding him down the stairs like it's almost like she's a fucking nursemaid more than his wife, okay? And you know that she hates him. She hates him, right? She does. She just absolutely abhors him, right? She does. She can't stand him. And you know, I mean, I get it. Like, if I was her, I wouldn't be able to stand him either. You know what I'm saying? He just, you know, he was unfaithful to her multiple times. He fucking, you know, while she was like raising his son, he was out like, you know, trying to manipulate women into having sex with him because he's so fucking desperate and sad. But dude, watching him come down the steps, he likes to talk shit about Biden. But dude, it's like he has his nurse helping him down the stairs, man.
Mom, let me go back now.
Dude, look at that. All the Botox white hags are showing up, bro. Oh my God, dude. All the white fucking evangelicals are showing up on stage to be like, congratulations. We just took all that money and medical care from the poor people. We just fucked all the poor people. Those fucking poors, right? Dude, little MAGA Mike, dude, 40% of his state is on Medicaid. Right? And they're all going to get so screwed. The poverty is just going to fucking crash in Louisiana like really bad. I mean, Marisol, to be fair, this kind of is what the founding fathers wanted. I mean, the founding fathers were, I mean, as far as his presidency being a king, all right, maybe not that, like him wanting to be a king, but the founding fathers were scoundrels. They were fucking degenerates. They owned human beings, okay? Women weren't allowed to vote. They beat slaves. They were not good people. They killed the food supply of the fucking natives. The founding fathers of America were terrible, right? Most of them. I think it was like, you know, if you look at the guys, that thing of like signing the Declaration of Independence, it was like 32 of the 34, you know, you know what I mean? There were hardly any. Like, there's a great picture. Hold on, let me find the picture. It's this image right here. Okay, you ready? So here. All right, there it is. There's the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Everybody but those, there's like everybody with the red dot over their face owned slaves. Okay? You know what I mean? If you can see their face, they didn't own slaves. That's it, right? That's it. These guys were like not great guys, okay? They were wealthy. They were slave owners. And I mean, essentially, America was founded with wealthy people, okay? With wealthy people who were trying to not pay taxes. They didn't want to give any of their money to the government. They were like, fuck that. So they went to this new place and were like, all right, we're going to fucking take over all the people that live here. We're going to take all their land. We're going to take all their shit. We're going to kill their food supply. We're going to harm them as much as possible. Then we're going to enslave some people. We're going to get wealthy doing it. And we're going to like dominate as much of the world as we can, right? Yes, oligarchs and people that are used force have literally been the foundation of this country, right? And so it's hard. We have a difficult karma, guys. We do, no bones about it. You know what I'm saying? Like our karma is like super difficult, which is crazy. You know, it's like, I don't know, man. You know, we're not doing ourselves any favors. Many of the founding fathers wanted only wealthy landowners. Yes. I mean, but certainly women were zeros. They were nothing. They had no, like women had no power whatsoever back then. It's crazy how bad it was. See, what's really telling is I don't think there's going to be one person of color on this stage, right? This is Trump's administrations are like the least diverse administrations of anyone. There's normally only one person of color in Trump's administration. He usually puts a black guy in HUD because it has the word urban in there. And that's really like his administration is like as white as can be.
This is the gavel we use to enact the big, beautiful bill, and I want you to have that for your
Dude, Mr. President, here's the gavel. You can stick it up your ass, right? The big, beautiful bill. Oh.
Are we ready? We're ready. Are you ready? Good. Have a good time.
Oh, he's giving away pens. Look at that. Everybody have a pen. Dude. Look at that, though. Look at this as they zoom out, guys. Look at that. Not a single person of color in the whole fucking thing up there. It is all the entire fucking group, everybody in his cabinet, his like connection, it's all just white people, right? And I mean, this is really telling, guys. This is the world they want. When they say they want America to be great again, this is what they want. They want America to look like this, guys. A bunch of white people, white America, okay? White Christian America that believes in like controlling what you do with your body, right? What you learn in your schools and how socially advanced you get. They want to control your gender. They want to control what your family looks like, right? And this is what they're after, right? Nothing else. This is what they're after. Yes, the AI moratorium did not make it. Okay, the AI moratorium is not in there. I mean, it couldn't be. They would have needed 60 votes on that. That had nothing to do with mandatory spending, right? And I mean, if anything, though, it's like, I'm glad they tried to put it in there because now we at least know what they're trying to do. But yeah, dude, this is crazy. I mean, I fucking, you know what I'm saying? I fucking, like, dude, look at this shit. I grew up in a world when it was like this. You know what I'm saying? Did they vote it out in the Senate? Nice. Nice. Even if they had voted for it, I don't think the parliamentarian would have allowed that. I don't see how there's any way that could have been in on a reconciliation bill with a 51 vote win. There's just no way. It has nothing to do with the finances. It has nothing to do with the mandatory spending. It's not even a fucking spending proposal. Like, even if it had been 100-0 approving that amendment, the parliamentarian would have been like, nah. Like, there's no chance, right? There's no chance. But dude, isn't this, right? Isn't this crazy? Oh, they cut it down to useless? There you go. Dude, you would not feel comfortable being around this group of people? It's crazy, though. But this is why ICE, why they want to defend, why they want to pump so much money into ICE guys. And this is what's really hard, I guess, sort of processing where we're at as a country now, is they won't say it. They keep talking about, like, illegal people. They keep talking about undocumented people committing crimes. But all of that is bullshit. This is like the Laura Loomer thing, guys, where Laura Loomer, she makes her joke where she's very clear, she's very clear about wanting to feed all of the Hispanic people of America to alligators. And then she says, oh, I was only joking. And they're very deceptive about the shit they want to do, but they're hiding behind, this secret Project 2025. But what they want is they want that white ethno-state. What Tony said right there. They want a white Christian ethno-state, period. Where all of those white people are having lots and lots of babies. All of those white people have better health care. They have better benefits. They have better, interactions with the government. And the people of color need to be diminished and impoverished and out on the fringes. Okay? Working jobs that, black jobs, as Trump likes to say, right? Remember him talking about black and brown jobs? Those are the jobs that are like, the shitty non-white jobs, dude, it is crazy. What's hard is I feel like we do have to address this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to acknowledge the reality of this, what they're really after, because it's going to get bad with ICE, with 10,000 new ICE agents. If they start hiring all these guys, they're going to be like J6er adjacent Proud Boy kind of people. And they are going to, they're going to be heavily targeting, the Browns and you know what I'm saying? Brown people, right? And eventually they're going to come for the people who try to protect the brown people too, You know what I mean?
Good job. And we have some more. We'll give you some more. Our great first lady. Come here. Oh, yeah, you would have worked. Scott. Congratulations. I'll let you know the guy. I don't know. Honey, now you got to go implement the gavel.
You're very trusting.
Give that guy a raise. Give that guy a raise. Thank you very much, everybody. And I want to thank the people up here. They're unbelievable people. Mary, hi, Mary. Thank you. How's Scott doing? Good job? Scott, how's the economy? Okay?
Wonderful. It's going to get better.
From South Carolina. It's been amazing. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good time. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
I'm not so sure that's a good idea. You got a good doctor.
Dude, Trump is always like, he always looks so uncomfortable, bro. See, dude, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? So just so you know, right? Like this person right here is 𝗙𝗪𝗂𝗧, right? She's like the only person who is remotely like ethnic that is like, right? That is her in the white right there. She's from Oregon. Okay, she lost her congressional seat in Oregon. She was in a red district here, and she got beat by somebody who's a little more purple than her. But that's his fucking, you know, labor secretary. But she's like the only sort of person of color on that fucking stage. Isn't that crazy? That is some wild shit, bro. Oh my God. Dude, unbelievable. All right. Tokens? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I was a little surprised that she got picked to be in his cabinet. We hadn't really heard much about her here. But obviously the Musk and Trump are center stage right now. Okay? Right? The America Party. Dude. Dude, 𝗙𝗪𝗡𝗞, let's go, baby. Appreciate you, boss. So, dude. All right. So what do we got here? Oh, there's something about... All right. Let's look at this shit. Dude, we got some things in the Reacts channel that I want to go through. So the America Party, okay? This is fucking crazy. This was Elon's tweet today. All right? Look at this. Dude, let's go. By a factor of 2 to 1. So Elon Musk is saying he fucking, he basically did multiple Twitter polls. Okay? I don't know if you guys saw this, but I'm sure you saw it. Let's go to the source material, shall we? All right. So obviously when this bill came up, dude, let's go. 𝗙𝗪𝗡𝗞, let's go, baby. Appreciate you, boss. When the bill came up, okay, he said, anybody who votes for this thing, if you vote for it, I'm primarying you. And then he went on to say that he was going to start a new political party. All right? That was his promise. Right here. Where is it? Let's find the original thing. Right here. Okay? This was his statement. Okay? If this insane spending bill passes, the America Party will be formed the next day. Our country needs an alternative to the Democrat-Republican uniparty so that the people actually have a voice. All right? Dude, let's go. Dude, 𝗙𝗪𝗡𝗞 is making it rain, baby. Dude, let's go. Dude, do I need to start a new goal? I'll start a new goal. We didn't get the goal, dude. Let me start one. All right? Let's go, baby. Dude, the goal expired. There we go. We'll try it again. Dude, let's go. 𝗙𝗪𝗡𝗅𝗧𝗄 Dude, let's go, Brutus. Dude, I think a 𝗙𝗪𝗡𝗅𝗧𝗄 would definitely slither. Dude, it would fucking slither like there's no tomorrow. Right? It would, dude. It would probably, I feel like it would also, there's a strong possibility that it would have some type of parasitic infected virus that it would carry with it. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like some kind of COVID venom. Dude, you know, they're super toxic. Well, all right, so look at this. So Elon comes with this big threat. Now, we don't know what really precipitated this, okay? Right? I mean, we know Elon says it was because Doge wasn't taken seriously, but it could be because Elon's whatever he had, wanted to be part of the administration was not part of the administration, because at the end of the day, I feel like Trump probably made Elon feel like he was going to be a big voice in government. But the reality is this has been a Heritage Foundation production from the beginning. Borrow bad, let's go. Dude, all right, we're going to get the dance party. 9 more. Let's go, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was a Heritage Foundation production from the very fucking start. And there was never any doubt that it was going to be a Heritage Foundation scenario. Okay? Right? Dude, Colombia, let's go, baby. Yes. Oh my God. The Green Party, like Jill Stein. But so what's funny about this is how it almost didn't come to be, right? Because Elon said, you pass this spending bill the day after I'm starting the America Party. Dude, living dead girl, let's go. But then the America Party, it didn't happen, okay? Because then what he did was after the bill spent, he said, okay, do you want independence from the two-party system? So then he did a Twitter poll, okay, and about this. And then he did a second Twitter poll. I think he did 2, right? I thought he did 2. Dude, Uncle Fatty, let's go, baby. All right, let's go. Smoke it up. And dude, woke grandma. Oh shit, let's go, baby. Yeah, Jill Stein will disappear. But so look at this, okay? And so he, right? So now he says, by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party, you shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. But now, here's what we wonder, is what is this America Party going to look like, right? Like, what is this even going to be, right? I mean, first off, is it really going to happen? Dude, what do you think, chat? You think he's actually going to follow through with this? I mean, I was kind of thinking, dude, let's go, Mitchie. 1 year on the 16th. Way to go, boss. Dude, Fontucky, let's go. By the way, for the dance party, it's $2, guys. Just FYI. $2 or more triggers the dance party. We're at 6. We're at 7. Oh, shit. Here it is. 7 up. We're 3 away. Dude, it's coming. Oh, shit. Now I'm going to have to find a fucking song, bro. All right? Oh, dude, Borrow Bad. Dude, Borrow Bad's coming in and being like, dance, bitch. Right? Oh, shit. But first off, I mean, part of me feels like this is going to end up like his tunnels, like the Boring Company. Like, I don't know if he's actually going to follow through with it, because what would the America Party look like? Right? I mean, who's going to be a part of this? Because I feel like who's joining this thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is joining the America Party? I don't think any Democrat is joining this party, right? Right? There's no fucking way. I mean, Dean Phillips might, right? I bet Dean Phillips is going to sign up. Dude, that clown. Where is he, dude? Let's go look up Dean Phillips, dude. This guy is just the biggest fucking clown. Right here, dude. What does he say here? Yeah. Oh, look at this. When the right adds $12 trillion in debt in 6 years and the left nominates a mayoral candidate who speaks of seizing the means of production, dude, they're so butthurt. South African billionaires starting the America Party. Yes, Colombia. That's hilarious, isn't it? But so I bet Dean Phillips is going to be an American Party, right? This guy, dude. Oh, shit. Look at this. Attacking Trump doesn't lower costs, raise standards of living, or reduce barriers to the American dream. National health insurance with prescription drug coverage, paid family leave, and incentives for housing production would. I mean, he's not wrong, right, that we need those things, but I think we do need to attack Trump. Like, let's be real. Any Democrat, I saw Ro Khanna was saying the same shit. Any Democrat who says don't attack Trump or like be nice to Trump, they need a boot. Okay? They do. They need a boot in the ass. Dude, yeah, I mean, Dean Phillips lost to uncommitted in his own state. Okay? This guy is like major buffoonery. Okay? Look at this, right? Democrats wishing to lose the 26 midterm should promote a 33-year-old socialist devoid of executive experience for mayor of America's largest city and impeach a president who ended a tyrannical regime's nuclear threat while achieving a ceasefire 5 days later. Comedy. And I'm like, dude, somebody who runs and loses to uncommitted in their own state should shut the fuck up about winning, right? Bro, you don't even know what the fuck you're doing, dude. He does not. I mean, dude, this guy who ran for president and he lost to uncommitted. He couldn't even like get a substantial number of votes in his own state. His own state doesn't even know who he is, bro. Jesus, dude. And achieving a ceasefire, ending a tyrannical regime's nuclear threat. Dude, I'm telling you right now, make no mistake. Okay, Iran is going to have a nuclear weapon. Now, the question, guys, becomes what's going to happen? Whoa, Grandma, let's go. Let's go. All right, we're almost there. Dude, the question remains this, guys. Okay, the question is what's going to happen after they get that weapon? Okay, because Iran moved the uranium, they moved it to another location. They're no longer complying with any international people to like show their shit. So they're going to stash that somewhere, let nobody in on it, and they're going to, you know what I'm saying? They're definitely going to have a nuclear weapon. So the question though becomes, what's going to happen then after they have it? Right? You don't like Dean Phillips in Minnesota? Dude, nobody likes Dean Phillips, right? Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think Iran wants to use it. I don't think Iran wants to use it. I think they just want Israel to fucking back the fuck off. Good night, babe. Love you too. See you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it. Like, I don't think they want to like shoot it. They just want to like be left alone, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Saudi Arabia is an enemy of theirs, right? Fucking, there's a lot of different factions, right? You just want to dance. Oh my God, woke grandma. It's like $2 or more. Dude, yeah, it's set to $2 or more. So the $1.99 doesn't push it over. Oh, shit. No, it did. Oh, let's go. Did it? It counted it. It must count the $1.99s. I thought it didn't. Let's go. All right. Dance we do. The world has said dance. Dude, I love that. That's good. I'm glad it does the fucking $1.99 because it always seemed like, yeah, no. So it was counting it anyway, woke grandma. You're good. It's counting it. I wonder why it only lets you do $1.99. That's really interesting, but it's counting anyway, so you're good. You brought us home. Woke grandma brought us home. All right, now I got to find a song, dude. All right, we got to find a good song. Yeah, I mean, I worry about Israel doing that way more, right? I think it's much more realistic that Israel would fire a nuke than Iran. I mean, Netanyahu, right? I don't know about like Israel itself, but I'm saying Benjamin Netanyahu is clearly, that guy has some fucking serious issues. You know what I mean? All right, let's find a song here. All right, I'm going to search. What are we going to search? Search electronic. Going to find something good with electronic. No, I can't do copywritten music. I have to do it to fucking Epidemic Sound, because YouTube is brutal about the copywritten music. So we're gonna find something with a good groove. Thank you, woke grandma. Thank you, all you guys. Should we do Christmas music? Dude, I love this, bro. The fact that I'm dancing to Epidemic Sound music. Oh, Lord have mercy, bro. Dude, we're going to find something good, though. Let's find something badass, shall we? If you feel the thing, let's go. Let's go. Oh, yeah, baby. Burn out, burn out. Burn out, burn out. That was actually pretty groovy. Dude, we gotta find something good though, bro. Yeah. That one, I don't know what one, when you say that one, I don't know what that one is. Right? Here, I'll bring this thing down so you can identify it by name if you see it. All right? If you see something you like. Otherwise people are like, that one, and I'm like, I don't know which that one is because there's like a 3-second delay. Right? So we're just talking into the wind. It's got to have a good beat, though. You're only 48? Dude, are you really a grandma, woke grandma? Pretty sure half of these are AI generated. Maybe. It's hard to tell these days. A lot of this stuff, though, is actually really good. I mean, what I like about this stuff is when doing videos is a lot of it you can find shit that like vibes and sounds like artists, but it's not distracting. Like when you use music that people recognize, what people recognize becomes like what people recognize becomes a distraction, right? You know what I'm saying? And so it's nice to have music that's not distracting. At grandma for 8 years. That's crazy. Oh yeah, baby. What up? What up? Dude, we're trying to find a good dance song. That's not bad. That one's not bad. You can see the waveforms. You need to have something with the fucking... Oh, shit. This one's got some possibility. It's got a little bit of an 80s vibe. We're going to like that. That's maybe a possibility. Right? Dude, I really want to dance to like Nookie by fucking Limp Bizkit, right? That's what I really feel like dancing to. And not this fucking Epidemic Sound music. YouTube! Oh, the copyright! We're gonna kill like half the stream fucking doing this. All right, come on. Give us a good one, Epidemic Sound. All right. Dude, I like this one, actually. Dude, this one kind of reminds me of... You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of... Hold on. I'm going to remember it. Dude, what does this one remind me of? Dude, and it's in Spanish too. Como me amo. It reminds me of what fucking song is that, bro? Dude, like it's a fucking Kanye song. It reminds me a little bit of a Kanye song. Stronger by Kanye. It's got a very similar, the way the chord changes. Could I do an Angela Trimber video? I could not, right? The Angela Trimber video, those videos are copy struck, right? That's a Chromeo song. That's like a really like, you know what I'm saying? I made a video that had like 10 seconds of me dancing to Angela Trimber and the video got copy flagged. Yeah, no, it's too bad. I mean, I couldn't even watch that on YouTube streaming. They probably would fucking would bully the stream. But yeah, we're gonna dance party this, all right? Dude, I'm gonna have to get like a disco ball or some shit. You guys ready? Get limber. Get limber. Get ready, guys. Get ready to do a little bit of dancing. All right? All right, are you guys ready? Dude, yeah, Kanye has fallen. I mean, you know, being a Nazi really can end your career, Colombia. Right? Right? I mean, I hate to say this, but thankfully in America, if you become a Nazi, your career's gonna take a hit. All right. Let's go. All right, yeah, get limber. Get stretched out. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everything. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I will have my way. I will make the rules. I'm just like a drug. Once you get a taste, you won't let me go. You remember me. I want you to call it. Wanna hear it at 3 in the morning. Your voice is my darling. Wanna hear it from Cairo to London. Como me amo, como me amo.
Let's go, baby.
What's my name?
Let's go.
What's my name?
Oh!
What's my name? What's my name?
action.
Let me in your arms. Let me feel you close. I know I'm the one you'll be thinking of. I want you to call it. Wanna hear it at 3 in the morning. Your voice is my silence. Wanna hear it from Carol to London. Como me amo. Me amo. Como me amo. Me amo. What's my name? Como me amo. Me amo. Como me amo. Me amo. What's my name? What's my name? Name.
Let's go! Oh shit, boss! Oh man. Yeah, dude, that's actually a pretty good song, dude. Whew. All right. Now we're vibing. Oh. Oh, Lord. Yeah, no, that was actually a good tune. And it totally did remind me, the chorus of that thing was very much like Stronger. Some vibes. Let's go, baby. Oh, all right. Forgot where we're at. We'll have to fucking reconvene with our we were talking about Elon's America party. Okay. Now, see, what's going to be interesting here is trying to figure out what, for me, it's going to be trying to figure out what this America party is going to look like. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you got all these right-wing clowns. Dude, thank you, Borrowbad. Appreciate you. Dude, that shit is like, that shit'll get you in shape, man. I'm fucking winded, but it's good to get exercise. Ooh. Oh, yeah, baby. Como me amo? Yeah, como te amo, what does that mean? It's like, what's te amo? Isn't that your name? What's your name? Right? Is that como te amo? So it's a song. No? What can it says it translates to how I love you in English is what it says. No, it says according to this, it says how I love you. Right? How much I love you. Como te amo. How much I love you. Which is weird. That's incorrect. All right. To what is my name? All right. Yeah, no, I thought it's like, right? Como me amo. What is my name? Como te amo. How much I love you. So it was he singing both? Como te amo is your name? Dude, amo is love. Yeah, isn't amo love? Because isn't me amo, but also though, me amo is like my name, right? Dude, I need to speak some fucking better Spanish, bro. I'm a disappointed. Amor, right? Oh, amo is love, and amo his name. Amo, my love. Lamo or amo? Dude. All right. Now I'm just fucking confused. Yamo. Oh, got it. Amo and Yamo. Yamo. Amor is love. Yeah, but there's, I mean, there's like multiple words for love in Spanish, I think. Right? Because the thing about it is, you know what it is, guys? It comes down to like amor is love as a noun, okay? But love as a verb is amar, which is where the amo comes from, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they have different words when love is, they have different words when love is a noun or when love is a verb, right? Amor is my love, got it. But, you know, that noun verb thing, I mean, you know, not a lot of languages do what ours does, where we have like the same word, right? Like you can have one word that is the noun, the verb, the adverb, right? It's like every different fucking variety. Have I ever thought of being a Chippendales dancer? I have not. Right? I'm not buff enough. Right? If I danced, it would be, if I did dancing, like if I had another go at this life and I could start over again, I might be a dancer, but I would either do ballet or I would do like hip hop dancing with like, you know, with some type of performer, you know, the kind of shit you see at like the Super Bowl, at like the Super Bowl halftime and shit like that. But I've always been really interested in ballet. You know why I've been interested in ballet, guys, is because it's like brutal, right? Ballet dancers, it's like really cutthroat and really fucking like brutal. It beats up their bodies. Like ballet has a whole sort of like masochistic kind of like pain overcoming aspect to it that is like super intense. It's like super, super intense and highly competitive, like really, really cutthroat. So, you know, ballet, I think would be really interesting because I like that sort of body, that sort of like limit pushing kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Limit pushing your limits. I'm attracted to endeavors that try to get people to challenge their limits, you know? But so anyway, look at this shit though. Look at the people in the comments here where they're right. To those arguing third parties steal votes, right? Nobody owes their loyalty, blah, blah, blah. Fucking the worst people are in these replies. You know, take over the GOP with America first. Look at Dana Loesch. She says, if you are good with Second Amendment as the founders intended and hate the IRS, I'm all ears, right? And look at this. This is Roger Stone. I have huge respect for Elon Musk and everything he has done for free speech and to ferret out waste, fraud, and corruption in federal spending, but I would rather see him pursue his efforts at electoral reform within the Republican Party primaries rather than having a new party splitting the vote of sane people and letting the Marxist Democrats gain control again. Dude, yeah, they're all fucking clowns. They are, dude, all of these right-wingers, right? It is. It's, you know, I mean, I don't think he's even going to do it, but I think it would be amazing to see him, right? I think it would be amazing to see him split the GOP vote. Because I saw somebody say something like, who says it's just going to split the GOP vote? But I'm like, bro, there is no Democrat in their right mind that would join Elon's political party, right? After all the turncoating, and he is the most unreliable helper, right? Nobody's joining this fucking party except for like weird Elon stan losers. Like it might pull some of the bro vote, right? Some of the bro vote that aren't going to feel about JD Vance the same way they feel about Trump. But like, dude, no Democrats or leftists are joining this party. You know what I mean? And sell your Tesla stock. Things are going to get ugly, right? I hope what you know what you're doing. You're going to hand the Democrats Congress. Dude, isn't this hilarious? Look at Brick Suit. He said 64% of global respondents to your poll. In no way should your poll be confused with an accurate sampling of American voters. Dude, all the Trump lackeys are in here arguing about like, oh, this is global. Ian Miles Cheong says America would benefit from having a proper political party that isn't pledged to plundering people. All right, thank you for the alliteration there, Ian Miles, fucking Malaysian fucking dingbat. A people's party, everyone wins. China wins, Russia wins, America wins, humanity wins. Dude, what a fucking weirdo, bro. These guys are so weird. Oh my God, dude. Like, and this guy, dude, Scott Pressler, says, I am staying as a Republican. We are 74,000 active voters away from flipping Pennsylvania. If you do not like Governor Shapiro or that Democrats shut Pennsylvania down during COVID, dude, they're still crying about COVID. Like, bro, the whole world shut down during COVID, you fucking idiot. And like, they're still like, if you're mad that the government shut down during an international pandemic 5 years ago, join us in our war, right? You know what I mean? Like, think about how ridiculous that is. A third party will only help reelect Shapiro. That's their selling point, right? That's their selling point. If you're upset 5 years ago that they told you to stay at home during a deadly worldwide pandemic that killed fucking, 8 million people, right? You know what I'm saying? If that bothers you, like, join us. Like, what a bunch of dinks, dude. Right? Like, bro, there's going to be as many people are going to die from, ending USAID. And they don't care. They don't care about death. Dude. Oh, look at this. This is disappointing. At the end of the day, the America Party will only split votes from one party, the Republican Party. Oh, the redheaded libertarian has spoken. Do you want to take over the Libertarian Party? We're not really using it. Dude, she is a clown. She blocked me, though. It's too bad. I used to have fun getting in there, clowning her. Dude. Oh, my God. Everybody's in here. Dude. Oh, shit. Chloe Cole, the D-trans queen, is in here. Is it going to end child gender transition? Yeah, which is a real huge problem that affects, hardly anybody worldwide. I mean, dude, let kids and their doctors and their fucking therapists make their own decisions, right? Some people are going to regret their decisions. I mean, whether it's gender transition or, like playing more on that blown out knee, trying to get that college scholarship or trying a risky cancer treatment. I mean, human beings of all stripes and ages with themselves and their parents and their doctors and their loved ones will make medical decisions, and some of them will work out and some of them they will regret. I mean, this idea that just because a couple people regret shit, you need to eliminate people's ability to fucking have treatments is so dumb. You know what I mean? There's a higher regret of knee surgery than there is of gender transitioning, which is crazy, right? And just like that, the GOP died. Yes, it did. All right. But these are, right? These are fucking, everybody's getting in here. Everybody's fucking fake Caroline Levitt. Oh, shit. Over 1 billion people voted. So funny. They're like faking the numbers. Over 1 billion people voted in this poll, and he spelled it like Trump. That's funny. Dude, big balls? Dude, how about big balls for fucking deportation? How does that sound? Oh, man. Dude, I will say this. Okay, you ready? I am a firm supporter of Elon starting this party. I am a firm supporter. If Elon wants to start this party and take on, you know, big balls and company, dude, I think so. Right? You know what I'm saying? Dude, I'm down with it. Start it up, bro. Dude, let's go. The America Party, I am a huge fan. Dude, let's go, baby. Aren't you? Aren't you down with it? But I think it's funny, though, that this shit is caving in because, you know, what else we had was we had this, guys. There has been the MAGA love, you know, fest is over, okay? It started with Bannon, okay, right here. With Bannon and Musk, you may have seen this or maybe you didn't. But you know that Steve Bannon and Elon Musk have started a little lover's quarrel. This started before Trump, okay? And this was like the first thing, but this was a couple days ago. This was 2 days ago, day and a half. I mean, it was 4th of July, okay? So Bannon had said on his little war room, he had taken some shots at Elon. And he said, you're not American. You're South African. And if we take enough time and prove the facts of that, you should be deported because of the crime of what you did among many. So now Bannon is going on the record like saying we should denaturalize and deport fucking Elon for his crimes. Okay? So now he's like declaring criminal acts on, you know, from Elon. And Musk said the fat drunken slob called Bannon will go back to prison. And this time, for a long time, he has a lifetime of crime to pay for, right? Now, here's what I wonder, guys. You ready? So what I wonder is, was there election impropriety? Was there? Like, we don't know. I mean, there could have been in some way, even if it wasn't like some big changing of the votes. But did they rat fuck the election in some way that was not legal? I think there's a chance that some shit went down. And now you got to wonder, will it ever come out? Right? Like, what's going to come of this? You know, even if it was something that was like, you know, just a illegal, you know, I don't know, coordination among different parties or whatever. But something's going on that they've been definitely having a rift, you know, but I think this is funny, dude. This is funny shit, bro. It is, dude. Elon and Bannon. So that is right. That is going to be the big, like, I just wonder if it's actually going to show up, right? Because he did 2 polls, right? He did a poll first. Is it time to create a new political party? And then he did an Independence Day. Should we create the America Party? So he did 2 polls, total of about 7 million people. And it looks like they're calling for the party. But again, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jeremy, there have been a lot of instances like that we've seen where there have been instances where all the down ballot stuff went to Dems and Trump was voted president. There were other instances where nobody else got voted for. All they voted for was president and for Trump. And then they didn't even vote in any of the down ballot stuff. So there have been a lot of unusual data points, right? BTC had a good take on it. All right, let's see what BTC's
As the
take
Republicans
is.
have ushered through a new law that would add nearly $4 trillion to the debt, Elon Musk has made no secret of his disdain for this bill. As a result, Musk started teasing this idea of funding the primary opponents of anybody who voted in favor of the bill, as well as launching a new political party called the America Party that would ostensibly draw support away from the existing parties and give folks disproportionate power, kind of like Joe Manchin and 𝗙ṛsten Sinema and Lisa Murkowski.
Yeah, I mean, first off, the thing that's really taking this in stride, you look at something like the Green Party that has existed, making a political party is more than just creating a logo and having a Twitter page, okay? Parties have infrastructure, they have ground campaigns, they have, there's a lot of like behind the scenes shit, donors. I mean, Elon's party would presumably be funded entirely by him. It would probably be a shit show of, look at how he runs his businesses. It's a fucking disaster, right? You know what I mean? I mean, the Green Party with Jill Stein has existed. They have nobody in any legislation anywhere. If you look at the Green Party, it's been around. Look at this. Just look at this. The Green Party is a perfect example. Okay, look at the Green Party of the United States, right? Look at their thing. They've been around for 20 years, right? When were they founded? When were they founded? They were founded in 1985, and they had a centralized structure by 1990. 35 years. But look, guys, 0 seats in the Senate, 0 in the House, 0 governors, 0 seats in a state Senate, 0 seats in a state like representatives, 0 territorial governorships, 0 seats in the territorial upper or lower chambers. Okay, so the Green Party has 163 elected officials in like county commissioners and city council members. They've been a party for 35 years. They have nobody elected anywhere, right? Nobody. This isn't even a party, okay? This is it's a social club, right? And not even a popular one, right? They probably have some school board committees. I bet they have a few city commissioners. They may have a mayor somewhere, but they have no seats in any of the representative governments, whether state, federal, or territorial. So yeah, they have nothing. Now, granted, Elon Musk has a lot more money, okay? No, yeah, the Green Party in Europe is a major thing, okay? That's different. But in the U.S. Green Party is nothing. Now, granted, Elon Musk has a lot more money, so there's a chance that he has a lot of clout. He could probably help somebody win a race. Like I would imagine, you know what I would imagine, guys? I would imagine the party's going to be more popular with candidates than it is going to be with voters, okay? Because what's going to happen is I would imagine that candidates that don't have any funding, that exist somewhere in that independent range, may run to Elon because now they're going to get funded, okay? Right? Dude, let's go, Columbia. Right? Oh, shit. I didn't know that. They get $13 million for getting a percentage of the vote. No way. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So that I could see. I could see that candidates are going to maybe be attracted. Some outlandish candidates that fit outside, that hate both parties. Like, you ready? Are we going to see a Cenk Uygur congressional run? Oh, that I could see, don't you think? Couldn't you see Cenk Uygur running for some type of office as a congressional rep being funded by Elon? That's a transactional bullshit that I could see, right? Oh, yes, right? Those are going to be the kind of people that are going to try to candidate up and get some of Elon's money. And they're going to go out and run candidates even if they win or lose. They're going to have the Elon money, right? You're going to get, I think the candidates are going to show up first, right? That they're going to show up to try and get a piece of that action because it's hard to run for office if you don't have any money. So all you have to do is it's kind of the same job as MAGA, right? Because what is MAGA's job? You go and you fillet Trump and then you get bartered in. So if you want to be an America Party candidate, you just have to go double tug Elon, and then he's going to fund your campaign. Elon's God, Elon's the king, Elon's the greatest, America Party's the best, fuck both these parties, and then you just wait for the fucking cash register to open up for you. Right? Dude.
Yesterday, Musk took to Twitter writing, Independence Day is the perfect time to ask if you want independence from the two-party, some would say uniparty, system. He then included a poll asking if you should start it, and 2/3 said yes, which was followed today by this tweet, wherein he wrote, by a factor of 2 to 1, you want a new political party and you shall have it. When it comes to bankrupting our country with waste and graft, we live in a one-party system, not a democracy. Today, the America Party is formed to give you back your freedom. Now, a few points here. First and foremost, will Elon actually do it? Who knows?
I don't think he's even going to follow through. I think, I think in Elon's mind's eye, he thinks he can just throw money at this and it's going to magically appear. I don't think he's going to follow through.
Guy lies almost as much as the president whose campaign he funded. Elon predicted autonomous Tesla robo-taxis in 2019. Didn't happen. He predicted a cross-country summon feature in 2016, where even if you're in LA and your car is in New York, you could still summon it to you. Still doesn't exist. He repeatedly declared that SpaceX will put humans on Mars by the mid-2020s. Didn't happen. In 2016, he claimed that the first manned mission would happen by 2024, paving the way for a full Mars colony. It didn't. He promised a revolutionary 700-mile-per-hour transportation system called the Hyperloop. Doesn't exist. Politically, when he bought Twitter, remember this promise? For Twitter to deserve public trust, it must be politically neutral, which effectively means upsetting the far right and the far left equally. That was a good one. Or how about this one? Just to be super clear, I'm not donating money to either candidate for U.S. president. In other words, Elon is very, very often full of complete shit. He lies as freely as he speaks. So when he says that he's going to start a new political party, you can take it with a grain of salt because, well, bullshitter's bullshit. But let's humor what Elon said and give him the benefit of the doubt just for the purposes of this video.
See, now, if he did do it, if he did follow through, I think it would gut the Republicans, right? It would not steal a lot from the Democrats. I don't think. I honestly don't. I can't imagine any real Democrats that would buy in for that. Except you would get some shitty candidates, I think. I think you would get all the transactional money-mooching candidates.
If this does happen, the question then becomes, who will this hurt more, the Democrats or the Republicans? Well, let's consider this for a moment. You've got a political party that is started by a guy who just spent over $250 million to elect solely Republicans. He appeared alongside Donald Trump nearly every day for months. He worked in Donald Trump's White House. He bought Twitter and amplified only right-wing accounts while suppressing the reach of left-wing accounts. According to Pew, Musk has 73% favorability among Republicans and 12% favorability among Democrats.
Dude, 12%, bro! Oh my God, 12%. See, I think hardcore MAGA has soured on Elon, but guys, Elon's gonna have a little bit of bargaining chip power with the Republicans because the deficit's gonna go up, the finances are gonna get dragged, and a lot of the Republicans liked Elon's idea of eliminating spending, and so he is gonna be able to do the whole Tea Party movement in a way that those Tea Party shitheads couldn't. Because Elon is pretty good on social media, guys. Okay? Elon is. He is good on social media. He is good at whipping up a frenzy, and he controls one of the biggest social media platforms, so he could fucking shut down, the Republican propaganda machine in a major fucking way, dude. He's got a lot of clout. And there are a lot of Republicans that are going to really be soured on Trump's like deficit blowing up sort of shit. Because that's not really a traditionally conservative, you know, fucking behavior.
So when this guy launches a political project, who do you think this is going to appeal more to? SpaceX might be rocket science, but this isn't. In fact, even Elon's own AI tool, Grok, agreed when asked by one right-wing operative, quote, "Would the creation of the American Party help elect more Democrats?" Grok replied, yes, forming the American Party would likely elect more Democrats by splitting the Republican vote, as third parties historically split for their ideological kin. For example, Perot aiding Clinton in 1992, polls show Musk's base is right-leaning, amplifying his reach. Even Trump began to lash out, recognizing the danger of what Elon was proposing.
Yeah, see, here's what I think, guys. I think Elon could dilute the bro vote, okay? You know what I'm saying? I think Elon could dilute the bro vote significantly, right? I really do, guys. It's like Elon has a certain part of the manosphere vote that is really sold on Trump and the tech bros that are really like big on Trump, but they're not going to have the same pizzazz necessarily with J.D. Vance or Ron DeSantis, right? Ron DeSantis is sucking up to Trump thinking maybe he has an electoral future beyond this. But I think Elon could steal some of that manosphere shit, right? I do. And those guys are clowns, bro. The incel vote, dude. Asmongold's following would probably vote for Elon. Let's be honest, right? Think about it. You know what I'm saying? I was saying, yeah, Asmongold's, right? Asmongold, the scrote vote. Dude, that's it, bro. The scrote vote. Holy shit. That is the call, bro. Oh my God.
Writing, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any other human being in history by far.
Dude, Asmongold doesn't live in New York City, guys. He's not voting for Zoran. What are you talking about, dude? Asmongold. Like, yeah, he doesn't live in New York City, dude. He's a fucking dumbass. Dude, don't listen to Asmongold, all right? First rule of thumb, don't fucking believe fucking chodes. All right, hold on. Here we go. You ready?
Polls show Musk's base is right-leaning, amplifying his reach. Even Trump began to lash out, recognizing the danger of what Elon was proposing, writing, Elon Musk knew long before he so strongly endorsed me for president that I was strongly against the EV mandate. It is ridiculous and was always a major part of my campaign. Electric cars are fine, but not everyone should be forced to own one. Elon may get more subsidy than any other human being in history by far, and without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back home to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. Perhaps we should have DOGE take a good, hard look at this. Big money to be saved. I wonder why Donald Trump got so defensive
threatening
Elon's
him.
threats were nothing to worry about. And so if and when Elon goes ahead with this plan, it's also worth considering why he's complaining so much to begin with. After all, if he's upset with the way that things are going, he's got pretty much one person to blame, himself.
Yes.
Dude spent over, again, $250 million ensuring that Trump and Republicans took power.
See, now, what I wonder is, what do you think the crux of the separation really is, right? Like, what is the crux? Because, I mean, obviously they did a data mining operation with the AI tools. They went in there and they pulled all this data. Is Elon upset because he didn't get to go into the Pentagon and audit that? Is he upset because he realized Trump used him and never believed in any of the shit he thought he did? Like, I really would love to understand what caused the split, right? Because they were like buddy. But I mean, I knew going in that the Heritage Foundation's driving the ship, okay? The Heritage Foundation is driving the vehicle that Trump is in. It's like a parade float of white supremacy and Christian evangelicism, and Trump is the carnival barker on the front of that float that like appeals to the crowds. But his whole thing has been a juggernaut for evangelical religious control of our government. Now, somewhere along the line, Trump like made it seem like he was going to allow Elon to, reduce the size of the government and all that shit. But I don't know what really caused the rift, or if it is as simple as Trump didn't give Elon the financial shit he thought he was going to get. And now he's all like irritated. Like, we don't really know. I mean, it's kind of a big mystery. It could be any number of things because they're both like thin-skinned, like petty, egotistical crackpots. Yeah, there's drugs. There's like, notoriety, psychophancy on every side, you know what I mean? And obviously, I don't know. I'm just really curious.
So if he suddenly got all these issues with how the governing party is comporting itself, he should probably take a long look in the mirror. I mean, it's not like this is even some surprise. Republicans have cosplayed as fiscal conservatives for years.
Yeah.
All the while consistently blowing up the deficit.
And just blowing up spending. But they spend it on all the same shit. They give it all to rich people. They give it to corporations. They give it to the military, policing, anything that like crushes our civil rights and tries to like force order, right?
To heap tax cuts onto themselves. 25% of all the current U.S. debt was accrued during the first Trump term. These people aren't fiscal conservatives any more than I'm a theocrat. And by the way, Elon himself is no fiscal conservative either. He had full range of the government with DOGE, and instead of going after the principal purveyor of waste, fraud, and abuse, the Pentagon, which has failed 7 straight audits, he went after USAID.
Yeah, and you know why he went after USAID too, right? I mean, 2 primary reasons. One is it helps the poor, but 2 was because of woke, right? Elon's so butthurt about his trans daughter, right? So he shuttered USAID because it helped trans people and LGBTQ people worldwide in countries where they had no representation or where there was a climate that, oppressed them. And so that was entirely about that fucking woke shit. How was it a roadblock to Neuralink? Right? I'm curious about that. I know the woke shit, he was like hugely problematic. What did USAID have to do with Neuralink? What's that all about? Well, they did. They helped end apartheid. They were blocking him with regulations. Yeah, but USAID, though, it doesn't make any regulations. That was just like an outreach thing, right? There's no... he wouldn't even have impact. How would he even encounter USAID? Are you talking about the whatever, right? I mean, I would imagine HHS would have a bunch of regulations about like Neuralink and shit, but I don't understand how that ties in with USAID.
Which accounts for all of 0.5% of the budget, but which also was investigating him and his companies. He went after the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, which is actually a net positive for American consumers who've been defrauded by banks, but which would have had oversight into him and the payment processing platform on X. He went after the Department of Labor, the National Labor Relations Board, the EPA, all agencies that had oversight of him and his companies. In other words, he had the perfect, rare opportunity to actually eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse, and instead squander that opportunity helping himself and his own bottom line. He's not some champion for fiscal conservatism, fiscal responsibility. He is a greedy kleptocrat who looked out for literally one person when he had free reign of government. So it's pretty rich that he's once again presenting himself as this white knight when he's exactly the kind of self-dealing fraud that he pretended to want to rein in with DOGE. Granted, in talking about third parties, this isn't without risk for the left either, despite how unpopular Elon is with Democrats. And so my only message for anybody within this pro-democracy coalition out there is to remember that you only gain power one way, by getting more votes than the other side.
Yeah, I'm just going to say this, as far as like looking at Elon, right? As far as Democrats go, we got to be real careful, okay? In in how we interface with anybody who has ever had integration with the Republican Party, right? Like, even when you look at somebody like Cenk Uygur, he was a Republican until he got mad at George Bush. And look at what he's doing today. He is still fucking, right? He is still, like, attacking the Democratic Party and still, like, buttering up the Republican Party, like, years later. You know what I'm saying? And so there's no fucking, there should be no leeway to be given, okay? There should be no leeway to be given to Elon Musk or anybody who has helped MAGA people in the past, okay? Because Elon is unreliable, okay? He is unreliable. He was literally, if you go back to 2018, he was a Pride Month celebrating fucking leftist, right? And then all of a sudden he became like freaked out because of a trans daughter. Then he abandoned his kid, bought a social media network with the help of some shady ass financing worldwide in a very, like, you know, hidden sort of subterfuge laden deal, right? All of a sudden thrust himself into international politics just to eliminate, you know, investigations against him. His business dealings are not above board. The guy is a drug addict. He red-pilled the shit out of Twitter, was completely deceitful, turncoat, fucking anybody who got, like, in conflict with him, he would try to bury them, like, liar, sneak, cheat, misinformation spreader, plagiarizer, stealing content, lying about the video games. Like, there's nothing about him, about Elon, that is trustworthy. Okay, nothing about him. And then he funded Trump single-handedly, right? Fucking the $1 million giveaways, like all that bullshit. He tried to buy that Supreme Court seat. And now, for whatever reason that he doesn't even tell us, he gets mad at Trump. And now he's like, yeah, trust me. Like, I'm going to lead the party that's going to be resisting all these crooked people. It's like, really? Because, I mean, if we look at it, the biggest crook in the world is Elon Musk and fucking Donald Trump. Like, both of those guys are, like, tied for the biggest assholes and the biggest crooks. Maybe with Orban, Netanyahu, and Putin, right? You put those five in a circle jerk table, and they're all tied for being the most despicable. Maybe you throw MBS in there too, right? Because he likes to bone saw people, right? That's about it, right? There's the fucking, the shitty six worldwide. So, I mean, it would behoove us as Democrats or leftists or centrists or anybody with a sane brain, don't give Elon your money. Don't give Elon your time. Don't give Elon any of your trust, because the guy has not earned it, okay? He is 100% out with self-interest or some type of fucking ego-based fucking, like, hullabaloo, like just trying to crush the people he's mad at.
So if they want to splinter the Republican Party into two parties, let them. Do not be lured by Elon's promises of some great centrist party that represents the broad middle. Elon is not a centrist. He is a far-right technocrat whose sole goal in life is to make himself and himself alone richer. He doesn't want some big center party. He wants to be the most powerful person on earth. Do not be fooled by his rhetoric, because we've been here before. In other words, if you're part of the pro-democracy coalition, this is not the time to screw around and splinter off. Take the opportunity, vote as one bloc, gain power, and exercise that power. Pass laws to combat climate change for good, to protect reproductive rights for good, to expand healthcare for good, to bolster unions, to combat gun violence, and so much more. And look, I want to be clear that I obviously understand the allure of a new party. But it's worth remembering here that A, Elon Musk is a bad actor, and more power or influence in his hands will be as bad as Donald Trump. And B, no political party is perfect, nor will it ever be. But it's not supposed to be. Our parties are vehicles to power and nothing more, and the right understands that. Trump does, Elon does, Republicans do, but Democrats often don't. We impose purity tests and demand perfection and complete 100% alignment. And the truth is that we have to get over this idea that anything short of perfection is a reason to abandon the party.
We do have to coalesce. I mean, BTC is making a lot of sense here. We do have to bring together, like, even if we don't agree and we're going to fight about the semantics in the off years, during election years, we got to bring the leftists, the center left, the whatever, the neoliberals, all of them need to get together with the express job of beating the shit out of the other side. But just to give you guys heads up, I know you were talking, the FDA had something to do with Neuralink, which makes sense. But the US aid thing is this, guys. Okay, I looked up the US aid thing about Starlink. So US aid, okay, US aid didn't have any power over Starlink. They didn't have any governmental power as like an agency, right? You know what I'm saying? The US aid scenario, they weren't an agency of power, but what it looks like is that US aid had partnered with Starlink. Okay, because USAID goes and does shit in other countries. And so they were like subcontracting with Starlink to provide internet, right? And then I think what it is USAID started like feeling like their partner was up to some weird fucking shit. Okay, they were like doing reports on like what he was doing with the providing of the fucking terminals. So, right? So I don't think it was like, I think that there's a possibility that whatever he was doing with the terminals that USAID was looking into, they were probably going to dig up some information that was going to be unfriendly to him. And so he dismantled the agency. Like, dude, that's so scary, right? When you think about it. That's so fucking scary that we have billionaires that are just able to dismantle entire government agencies to cover their own shit. You have people like Bill Ackman in New York who's trying to like defeat Zohran Mamdani because he doesn't want to pay taxes. And they're trying to like cut deals. Like he's trying to get 𝗙ecie to drop out of the Republican Party, thinking that they can like beat him with Eric Adams. You know what I mean? And yeah, Tony, you're not wrong. Everything Elon touches is self-interest. It is all self-interest.
Because the party is the only vehicle we have right now to defeat the right, imperfect though it may be. That's not to say that we can't demand better from our elected officials and our leaders in the House and the Senate within the Democratic Party, because we should, and in fact, we must. But the reality is that this is the only viable option, the only viable vehicle we have to defeat Trumpism and authoritarianism and Elon Muskism as well.
See, I agree with that shit. I know people like say you're shilling for the Democratic Party when you say that, but the reality is the Democratic Party, do they have leadership issues? Yeah. Okay. Do they have donor issues? Of course. But what they do have is they have a national apparatus. Okay. That if you can use their national apparatus, right, to fucking get in office. But what we need to do though is we need to stop trying to change existing Democrats in government, and we need more like establishment Democrat people running for office. We need more people running, more regular working class people running. I think that's really the solution, guys. Okay? That is a main part of the fucking solution, is getting working class people running, you know? Like using, TikTok and social media and alternative media, right, as running. As not a Democrat, if they could pull the left together, they'd win. Yeah, well, I don't know about that, Tony, okay? Because if you look at it, Tony, if you look at the electoral sort of things, right? Like, look at Zohran Mamdani, okay? Zohran Mamdani won the Democratic primary of the mayor race in New York City. If Zohran Mamdani ran as the Democratic primary for president, I don't think he'd win, man. I don't think he would win a nationwide primary. I don't think he would win a primary in a purple district. I think he wins a primary in a far left city. Absolutely. But like, that's the thing that's really hard. Like, we have not seen far left candidates do well in any national elections. We have not seen that. I mean, I'm begging to see that. Even AOC, right? Here's an example. AOC is AOC winning her rep, right? Bernie, but did Bernie win? No, Bernie didn't win. Okay? Bernie grassroots, and he built a fucking momentum, and he built a grassroots movement, but he got clobbered in the South. Okay? He got clobbered in the South. He did come close. He was the closest that we've ever had, but he got clobbered in the South, in the black vote of the Democratic Party just didn't buy into Bernie. And I don't know why, right? You know what I mean? But and I love Bernie, but he was very close. But if you look, right? You ready, guys? You ready? Hold on. Follow this reasoning. Okay? The difference is between the House of Representatives and the Senate. Okay? All of the far left people are in the House. The only far left person in the Senate, guys, is Bernie fucking Sanders. That's it. He's alone. He's the only far left candidate who wins in a statewide election. And it's because it's Vermont, because he was the mayor of Burlington. He is like the crown jewel of Vermont, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, Cory Booker. Yeah, but Cory Booker, though, is like, I don't really know how far left Cory Booker is, because he's kind of far left, but he seems to vote and support a lot of middle of the road policies, right? But he's sort of it. You know what I mean? And like, but what's crazy about it is I'm still waiting to see a lot of that fucking, a lot of that big fucking, like, popular support of leftism. Like, I want to see more people running on leftism, far leftism, but we got to see them winning. Like, so far, guys, and I am far left, but most of the far left world exists in the theoretical. It's far left influencers talking about how the Democrats would win if they just did the far left shit. But when you look at the actual wins, a lot of the far leftists aren't winning, and not in statewide. They're winning in House districts where they're far left, but none of them are winning as senators. The senators are all still middling centrist fucking goons in like almost every fucking state, bro. You know what I'm saying? And that is like super problematic because the far left has not yet found a way to win over, right? To win over, they haven't found a way to win over the fully, like the fully diverse coalition. Because I did say somebody say something about how Bernie got screwed by the Dems. And the thing is, guys, is there's no doubt that Bernie got like squeezed out because he wasn't a Dem. And there's no doubt that Bernie had the superdelegate issues. But you have to face the fact that when you look at the numbers of Bernie Sanders, every time he ran for president, when he ran against Hillary and when he ran against Joe Biden in all the southern states, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, dude, he lost. 80% of the vote was not Bernie in those southern states. Okay, Bernie, and you cannot win the Democratic primary, no matter who you are, without winning those southern states. That the black vote is not a huge part of the vote, but they are a core part of the base. And they have been establishment Democrat, especially those older black people in the South. And yeah, you had people like Clyburn, like fucking them off and shit like that. But the reality is Bernie could not win that segment for whatever reason. And I feel like part of the answer lies, Senator Warren, there you go. Greaves, you do have Elizabeth Warren. You got Bernie Sanders. You've got sort of Cory Booker, but that's like 3 out of 100, right? There's 100 senators. You know what I'm saying? And there's only a couple, right? And I love Bernie. I fucking love Bernie, but like we got to figure out like the leftist movement, the far left has to figure out how do we bring the people of color working class together with the white working class. And Elizabeth Warren, I mean, I kind of see what you're saying. Like Elizabeth Warren, see, here's another thing that I have. And I feel like this is a little bit Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren, she talks leftist. So does Ro-Khanna. So does, right? A lot of people are leftist in presentation, but like, is it easy to be a leftist in presentation when you're like in office? Right? You know what I mean? Like who is really like the far left candidate? Like who really is it? Right? Because it's like, you know, I look at Ro-Khanna, right? And Ro-Khanna goes on the Young Turks and he goes on these shows with this whole Medicare for all far left philosophy, but then none of that shit goes anywhere. And then Trump wins and Ro-Khanna and his entire wealthy district all get fat tax cuts. And so you think like, is he ever really going to get with our shit? Like, or are they just leftists in perform because they know it's never going to win and they're not actually getting it to win, right? You know what I mean? And so that's what's so confusing about this, right? How do I feel about Merkley? So, I mean, I don't know a lot about Merkley and Wyden, the guys here, but their voting record has always been like consistent. You know, like voting wise, I have not had a lot of complaints with Merkley and Wyden's votes, right? I haven't. And you know what I'm saying? Vote wise, they've been pretty fucking consistent. But like would they go further left? Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell, guys, in the US government. I'll be honest, it's hard to tell because it's real easy to say I'm a leftist when you're already wealthy and you know that no matter who wins, you're still going to profit. And in fact, if the Dems lose, you profit even more, you know? And so it's kind of hard to tell who's actually like on the squad. And then you have shit like Kyrsten Sinema, who runs as a progressive, and then fucking, what did she do? Right? She fucking curtsied the thumbs down. So like, okay, right? Thank you, Kyrsten Sinema, right? But yeah, I mean, Merkley and Ron Wyden both have been like impeccable voting in Oregon. Like our senators are always, like for the most part, I feel like our legislators in Oregon are all pretty good. They're all pretty consistent, right? And I feel like they've done a good job. I mean, I know some people are like, oh my God, right? Like, you know, you're in Michigan and you're a blue voter and then fucking Alyssa Slotkin votes for the Laken Riley Act, okay? Jeff Merkley and Ron Wyden, my fucking senators in Oregon, were never going to vote for the Laken Riley Act. You know what I'm saying? And I never have a worry that they're going to vote for that shit. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude, I don't know, man. We still have people like Alyssa Slotkin winning the statewide senator fucking elections in Michigan. So my fear, guys, is that we are not as far left as like the far left thinks we are. Now, that doesn't mean that far left policies wouldn't benefit everybody in America. They would, right? But the problem we have is that the far left has not found a way to sell their policies to the diverse coalition that is America. Okay? They still like, they get the socialism tag and then they get all weird. To the person worthy saying Walz, AOC, Walz could not win a presidential ticket, guys. You need to give up that fantasy. He can't even survive an interview with a reporter calling him a liar, or like Nancy Mace chewed him up in that congressional hearing. Like, I love Tim Walz, but he's never going to be able to win a presidential election. He's too like flimsy under fire, right? you know, he would have to grow. He would have to become far more fierce when a reporter's like saying you're a liar, and he has to learn how to be like, fuck you, I'm not a liar, you're a fucking liar. And let me tell you, right? He would have to really grow. I mean, he could maybe, but I feel like he'd be much better in the Senate. You know, it's hard, right? I mean, I'd love to see, you know, you need to, you know, like Mamdani. I mean, now he couldn't run for president, right, Mamdani, because he was born in Uganda. So he's a non-starter. He could never run for president, right? But you would have to have Mamdani's political, like, he's got that slithery thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because I want my reps to be like, have good integrity and be above board, but you do need to have a slithery sort of feistiness to you to be able to wriggle out of being attacked, okay? Because as a presidential candidate, everyone comes up to you and says, you're a fucking liar, and you need to be able to come out of getting attacked as a liar looking like a king, right? You have to have a little bit of smarm, a little bit of that slithery fucking reptilian fucking snake oil salesman kind of charm to be able to survive a national election, right? Newsom has it, but he's also been kind of being a fucking douche. So I don't know how I feel about Gavin, dude. There was a time when I loved Gavin Newsom, but Newsom is like, I don't know, man. He seemed to like sort of like Newsom used to be the guy that's like, fuck you, I'm not backing down. But now he kind of became the, well, I'll let you kind of get thrown under the bus a little bit. And I don't like that. I feel like he lost some of his battle mojo to sort of like, hey, I'm going to try and win some centrist votes or something. And I don't like that, you know? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I mean, we have a long way to go, guys. We have a long way to go, right? Dude, yeah, 𝗙𝗪𝗪, I made a video about her, guys. I don't like her. I think my thing, what am I focused on right now? You ready, guys? Here's what I am focused on, okay? And then I got to go make some videos. But there's one thing that I have been sort of focused on, guys, and it's Bernie Sanders, okay? And why? Because two things, okay? Because one, Bernie has reignited his grassroots oligarchy, fuck the system clout. And he has reignited his sort of like, let's take the country back thing, right? But I wonder, who is Bernie going to pass the torch to? Because Bernie can pass the torch to somebody viable and get behind them and be a part of the solution, or Bernie can get mad and resentful and he could pass it to somebody that will sink the goddamn party. Okay, so that makes me a little nervous. Is Bernie going to pass the torch to somebody viable and create a coalition? Or is Bernie going to pass the torch to somebody who wants to attack the structure and burn the Democratic side down? So that's number one with Bernie. But number two with Bernie, I wondered, what the fuck was he doing on the Flagrant podcast? What the fuck was that podcast, guys? That was like a weird side of Bernie, okay? Where Bernie was like, I don't know, dude. He was being like trying to like be cool for like the manosphere shitheads, okay? And that was really weird. Because that was a side of Bernie where Bernie's normally like, fuck you, I don't fucking back down from anything. But now Bernie was sort of being like those guys ain't voting for AOC, right? You know what I mean? And if he was passing the torch for AOC, yeah, dude, he said the Democratic Party was a threat to democracy. That's not really making me feel like Bernie's gonna like partner up with whoever's running. Right. And dude, I like the manosphere bros. I don't know if they'd vote for a woman. I don't think they'd vote for AOC, guys. She's too threatening to those guys. So what the fuck was Bernie doing on the Flagrant podcast? Right? You know what I mean? Like, that shit was weird to me. That shit was weird, guys. That made me wonder, like, what the fuck is Bernie doing? Like, does Bernie have a plan? Maybe nobody has a plan. Maybe all of those big politicians are just fueled by ego and they don't have a plan. It's possible, right? Oh, shit, dude. Dude, AOC, see, I think, here's what I'm going to say about AOC Schumer. You ready, guys? Hear me out on this. I think AOC primarying Schumer would be a great litmus test to see, can AOC's progressive, rebellious nature win a statewide vote? I think that would be a great test, right? Could somebody like AOC win a statewide vote and depose Schumer? That would be real interesting to see what the future of progressivism is. Here, great litmus test, right? Great litmus test. Because I'll tell you guys, I've said this before. Okay, you ready? I've said this before. I don't think the president is important in the COG, guys. I think Congress is important. I think we need 200 progressives in the U.S. Congress, and who fucking cares who's president, guys? Like, you could have President fucking Bernie Sanders, and the Congress, the Schumer fucking Mike Johnson Congress would sink them. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need Congress, guys. We need a lot of you and I. We need a lot of us winning in Congress, guys. Fuck the president. The president is not the important thing. The important thing is the Congress, right? Donald Trump being president, you know, the only reason he's got any shit is because of Congress. Congress is fucking kowtowing to him and the Supreme Court, you know? You know what I mean? If we take back Congress, you own the president, right? And yeah, Schumer is a clown, dude. But all right, I gotta go make videos though, guys. It's time to hit edit mode, baby. Let's go, dude. Maybe I need to run for president, right? Fucking insanity. Don't you know there is nothing I won't do for you? My machine has perfect stars in you. Guys, thank you. Another great stream, baby. For you. I will see you guys tomorrow! Yeah, make sure you like the video on the way out. Thank you to all the donators tonight for that dance party. That was amazing! I'll see you guys tomorrow! Now it's time to get red, baby! Get red. From 1998, baby. Good night.
Red, red, who's your lover now? Red, red, who's it all about?